everywhere on YouTube. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click the live video link, subscribe to the channel, join us in the chat. All is open for fantasy football today in the program. Once again, today we'll be talking fantasy strategies for the upcoming 2024 NFL season right around the corner. And, let me mute that. Thank you. I appreciate that. Welcome into the program. Jeremy Green joining us once again from Mullet Manor.
We're off to a wonderful start. Just throwing that out there.
I understand that, you know what? You just, okay? Just stop.
Well, now I'm only hearing you once as opposed to the 5 times that I was hearing you before.
It is a wonderful day here in the Ingles studio. ESPN Asheville Fantasy Football Sleepers, the subject for today. All of those players that you can get late in your drafts that will outperform their ADPs. We'll talk running backs, wide receivers, tight ends, quarterbacks. We're not worrying about kickers and defenses because those don't matter in fantasy football.
Kickers are not people. We just, I'll give the stat if you really want me to. The difference between number 1 and number 20 is about 2 points a week. So stop it.
Right. Oh, yeah. Fantasy football on deck for today's program. You can get into the YouTube chat. Tell us who your favorite sleepers are. And we'll keep you up to date, of course, on any news in the NFL that may happen. You know, if, another player comes out today trashing one of his former coaches. Did you glean anything from the Tua Tagovailoa Brian Flores takedown of yesterday, Jeremy?
I did. I gathered that he had about the same take that I did, that Brian Flores is a jerk and Mike McDaniel's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
that's what I got. I went, hey, you had the same experience with those two that I did.
Tua calling out Brian Flores, saying that, what do you really expect? What's your mindset supposed to be like when you wake up every day and go to work and and the guy who's supposed to be teaching you football tells you suck at it and you don't belong here?
Well, I mean, Tank,
that's a hell of a motivator, I guess.
Tank, I do feel like of all people, you would be very equipped to discuss that, because I could take that same line and it could have come out of your mouth and it wouldn't surprise me in the least.
About you?
The guy that's supposed to be teaching you football tells you suck at it and you don't belong here.
Yeah, there is that.
That's not true. However. That's not true. I tell Tank, I'm nice to Tank. He's
sometimes,
most of the time.
Only on my birthday. Is that it? I get you. Are you?
It is Tank's birthday.
It is.
It is Tank's birthday. It's, if you're watching this on the YouTube, you see that the hashtag for today is #birthday Tank.
Yes. I am just glad that I'm not spending my 42nd birthday in the hospital like I did the 41st birthday. That was interesting. So yeah, I feel like that's progress, right? You turn 40, at 41 you're in the hospital, 42 if you're not in the hospital, that's progress as you're heading down the later years of your life. Appreciate everybody with the birthday wishes on the social media and everything. Always appreciate it. I do want to ask though, do we have to, as a business, do you have to call people and say happy birthday? Hey, you do business with us. Just wanted to say happy birthday. I get that that's like a long time ago, that might have been a cool thing. Now it's just you're encroaching upon my personal time.
Yeah, just send me an email that I won't read. We're good.
Precisely. I mean, I hate to criticize anybody for quote unquote caring. It just seems like an outdated kind of a.
Well, here's
tradition,
my question: are you giving me anything free because it's my birthday? If not, then don't dial my number, bruh. You send that in an email.
Right. You give me the chain email that just says, "Hey, it's your birthday. Thanks for doing business with us." If you're actually going to call me and wish me a happy birthday, rather than it just being, some dude who doesn't know me on the other side of the phone, just, hey, wanted to say happy birthday. Well, thank you very much.
Maybe what you and I should start.
You could have not called me and wasted 5 minutes of my time for nothing. Offer me something.
I have an
I
idea.
love that idea.
I actually have what I think could be a great idea. I feel like you and I should start calling listeners of the show on their birthday and singing Happy Birthday, Darling by Conway Twitty in the different impersonations that we do.
Ooh, that could be fun.
Christopher Walken singing a little Conway Twitty.
Now, see, there at least, if you're going to bother people, you're giving them some little tidbit of entertainment or something. More than just, hey, my name's Jeff, happy birthday. Thanks, Jeff. You could have texted that to me.
Do you know anything about that song, by the way?
I do not.
It is the low-key dirtiest country song in the history of time. It is all
Really?
double entendres. Every bit
From
of
the
it.
Tweety Bird.
Oh, no doubt. Conway Twitty was like the original D-O-double-G dog. And I got news for you. Your grandmother had corrupt thoughts about him. I promise you. If you grew up in the South.
With that pompadour hair.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Just save some for the rest
Conway Twitty and Richard Dawson. I guarantee you. Mammy and Pappy fought about Conway and RD. I guarantee it.
Conway was on Mammy's list.
My grandmother had a refrigerator magnet of Conway Twitty my entire life. He had been dead for 20-something years before she finally took it down.
Yeah. Okay. We learned something new about Jeremy's grandma today.
Boom.
Awesome. She was crazy for Conway.
She was very pro CT.
Nice. The only one I can remember, my grandmother had a crush on Gunther Gable Williams. She loved that dude. He was you probably don't even have any clue who that is.
I think he's the current WWE champion, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's
Gunther.
Oh, yeah. You don't have to say it that way.
That's Gunther. Gunther Gable Williams. He was the tiger tamer for the Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey Circus. I don't know why. She was all about him. Apparently, he had wonderful blonde hair. Grannies can be weird, I guess. Let's get into fantasy sleepers.
Well, I mean, we started with fantasy things. They were just they were our grandmother's fantasies. Which, if you'd given me a list of things we would never open a show with, I would have thought that would have been in the top 5.
Grandma's fantasies.
Bingo.
Yeah. Hey, look, everybody's got fantasies. It's just Anyway, I was going to a place I didn't want to go. Fantasy football time. All your drafts are amped up. You got them coming this week or next week if you haven't already had them. Yesterday we kind of did the intro to fantasy football, talking some general strategies for this year and such. We talked about the do not draft list in our daily draft yesterday. If you missed any of that, you can go back and check it out on the podcast or on the YouTube stream. You can watch it live. Or not live, you know what I mean. Let's talk about sleeper running backs for 2024. Do you have a number one guy that you're targeting across the board pretty much, Jeremy, of a running back who's fallen way too far and you just think you are going to beat people to death with him?
Yeah. It's and for me, it's not really even all that close. And you know that I love it to be seasons. And it's Aaron Jones season, baby!
That was the first name I wrote down when I saw this. Because the Minnesota Vikings get Aaron Jones over from the Green Bay Packers. And you're telling me he's joining a team that has Sam Darnold as the quarterback?
Okay.
Yeah, that team's going to run the ball.
Okay. I know you all think I'm cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs when it comes to Sam Darnold.
Yes.
I get it. You do realize that this is not actually a step back, right? You get that. I keep hearing people say, I can't take Justin Jefferson. I can't take TJ Hawkinson. I can't take Aaron Jones because of Sam Darnold. If you use the average of what Minnesota got last year at quarterback, Sam Darnold's better than that. Because half the year it was Nick Mullins and Josh Dobbs, and he's better than that. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying he's as good as the trajectory that Kirk Cousins was on, but it's not nearly as big a step back as you think. And I'll tell you another thing that I've yet to hear anybody really say. Have you ever noticed? So obviously we talk about Green Bay all the time, that Green Bay doesn't employ bell cows. They always have 3 running backs. It's always going to be kind of bootsy, and you're never going to know from week to week who exactly is going to get the tote. To emphasize that point, last year, Green Bay had Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. Aaron Jones had 142 carries. A.J. Dillon had 178. Do you know how many times that Kevin O'Connell has had a second running back outside of injuries with over 100 carries?
How many?
It's happened 0 times. Last year, he had Ty Chandler got to like 106 or something of that nature because Alexander Madison got hurt. That's it. He leans on one back. And I'm telling you, when I did my rankings, where is Aaron Jones for you? If you're ranking running backs for this year, where would he fall in for you?
Probably about 15, 16.
15, 16. Would you like to take a stab at where I have him?
Let me guess. 10 or 11.
10 is exactly right.
Wow.
The only running backs in the NFL that I have ahead of him are Christian McCaffrey, Bijan Robinson, Breece Hall, Saquon Barkley, Jonathan Taylor, Jahmyr Gibbs, Kyron Williams, Isaiah Pacheco. That's it.
Okay.
There are no more. And he's one spot ahead of Derrick Henry. He has no competition for the work. He's a really good pass catcher, and I think you're going to see it. I love the fit for him in Minnesota. I think he is the most undervalued player in fantasy football, and I'm not sure it's all that close.
You may be right about that because he's been a pretty solid option when he's healthy. Right, I'm just trying to think of a time when he wasn't reliable, and obviously when you're injured, you can't be reliable every other time. I mean, he would have those games where he would disappear, or it would be on A.J. Dillon, but I always thought that was more Matt LaFleur than anything. Matt LaFleur has driven me crazy with those 2 running backs for years of, well, Aaron Jones will have a big game, and then he'll just, we'll just give the ball to A.J. Dillon for the next 2 games. What? Why? Why are you doing that? It seemed like once a year we were having that game where Aaron Rodgers was finding Aaron Jones for, 3 touchdowns in one game. And then they'd ignore him for a month. Maddening.
Since Matt LaFleur took over as the head coach of the Green Bay Packers, Aaron Jones, he had 1 game last year. He had 3, I think, in 2022, where he played 70% of the snaps. He had 3 combined in the first 3 years. Yeah, that's a lot of the problem. And if you look back at the big games he had, you know what they tend to have in common? He played 70% of the snaps.
Yep.
You want to take a stab at what percentage of snaps Alexander Madison played last year in games that he was active?
72%.
74.
Oh. It all lines up for Aaron Jones to have a big year this year.
And if you go back a year before that to Dalvin Cook, it was almost 80.
That team's going to run the ball more, I would say, more than they did with Kirk Cousins, clearly.
Well, I mean, and you can't
like
stack
that.
the box either. Even if you don't have a belief in Sam Darnold at all, you still can't stack the box on that team. Because you still have Justin Jefferson. Depending on how bad the injury is on Jordan Addison. And you got TJ Hawkinson that will be back at some point.
Yeah, week 4 probably.
The last I heard, the belief out of Minnesota camp is that Addison will be ready week 1. And at the latest, T.J. Hawkinson would come back October 20th because they have an early bye.
Okay. Look, I trash on Sam Darnold all the time.
I don't know why.
I get
either.
it. I throw derision his way because it's fun. It's fun for me just to see your face twist when I mention Sam Darnold. Plus, he doesn't have the greatest track record. You know that. There is a lot. Is there talent in there? Sure. Have I ever really seen it? Maybe once or twice. And if Kevin O'Connell can unlock that out of him, awesome. I'm going to think even more great things about Kevin O'Connell. And I've always been willing, give him due. If he proves me wrong and can be a steady starter and have this team looking good and exciting on offense, I'll be willing to admit when I'm wrong. But I don't have the highest hopes for Sam Darnold. But anybody can put up fantasy numbers with Justin Jefferson and T.J. Hawkinson and all of that. I'm not saying he's going to be worthless and that this team's going to be, or the offense is going to be absolutely terrible for fantasy purposes and none of these players are going to be useful. I'm not saying any of that. All I'm saying is because Sam Darnold is there, I believe in comparison to Kirk Cousins, it only makes sense that you are going to run the ball more.
Mm-hmm.
And Aaron Jones is going to get a lot of that work.
To me, you have to like something in Minnesota. That's the team that I feel like, whether it's Sam Darnold or Aaron Jones, and if it's Sam Darnold, that would make me think you really liked Hawkinson and Jefferson and maybe even Jordan Addison. Not saying you would take them all, but you would want pieces of that offense.
Yes.
You either like one side or the other because they're going to put up yards. That defense is awful. And I like that they signed Stephon Gilmore. I don't know that changes a ton. It helps, but it doesn't make that defense good.
No, it might have cut out 2 touchdowns that you would have allowed otherwise.
It makes you slightly less awful.
Yes. You're going to be in a lot of shootouts. And, I like the pieces around Sam Darnold. But Aaron Jones, to me, is the juiciest fantasy piece, other than Justin Jefferson, obviously, because he's a freak.
So that's mine
for the Minnesota Vikings.
It feels like you were on board with mine, but after the break, we got to find out who yours is.
Yep, I got one coming right after the break here on ESPN Asheville, talking sleepers today. Fantasy. I guess this is the Sportsocracy Fantasy Marathon all week long here in the Ingles studio.
They wouldn't let us take over ESPN Radio for 27 hours. We floated it, and the response I got was, Jeremy can't stay sober for 27 hours, so that's a bad call. We're just not going to let you do that.
Yeah, facts don't care about your feelings. You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville.
In this week's Marketers Report, Dana Nussbaum, Executive Vice President, Worldwide Market
You're good.
Brothers Discovery, weighs in on regional audio marketing.
Although we're marketing at a very broad scale, it does include specific local markets, and that's the beauty of iHeart's network.
As the #1 audio company, iHeartMedia gives marketers access to the audiences, influencers, and data you need to grow. If you're a marketer, go to iHeartResults.com.
With 2 convenient locations, Singleton's Automotive will keep your vehicle on the road. Singleton's offers routine maintenance, BG services, tires, inspections, alignments, and more in their family-owned shops. Singleton's Automotive is hiring technicians for both locations. Receive competitive pay and benefits depending on experience. Visit singletonsautomotive.com. That's singletonsautomotive.com. Car care with character.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Diego.
Hi, Diego. It's Jennifer Coolidge. I just want to say your cashback match makes me feel so special. It really inspired me.
That's great. Doubling the cashback you've earned at the end of your first year is what we do.
Well, I'm doubling everything now. Double dating, double dipping, double feature, double header, double whammy. Basically double or nothing.
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
iHeart Podcast Update this week on your free iHeartRadio app. Wake and Jake. Talkin' Jake is back in action, talking about the biggest storylines across the world of sports. Everything you need to know. Trades, injuries, prospects, draft previews, predictions, and so much more, all wrapped up into 30-minute episodes. Jimmy's 3 Things. Topics ranging from analytical deep dives to behind-the-scenes player drama to team projections through the rest of the season. Whatever's currently piquing his interest.
Listen to these shows and more on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Open your free iHeart app and search now to start listening.
This summer, Dale's Pale Ale salutes freedom. Freedom in fabric, or the fabric of freedom. Denim Dales available for a limited time in the blue jean box. Dales salutes everyone who works hard, plays hard, and relaxes hard. Life's more than about what you pack in your denim. Though we're packing beer, so we win. Seize the Dales. Unwind in style with a cool breeze up the jorts. Just look for the beer in the blue jean box.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at clarissasellswnc.com. And did I mention that Clarissa Sells WNC loves teachers? We love teachers so much, we're giving back 25% of our commission at closing. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or clarissasellswnc@gmail.com.
There's a lot of talk about heroes these days.
Hey, buddy, you want to go fishing?
The folks in the funny outfits with superpowers and spandex.
All right, buddy, let me help you.
But at Ingalls, we know that a lot of our heroes
Now you look like a pro.
are a little closer to home. They're the ones who give us what we need for those everyday adventures. That's why we look up to the ones who look out for us.
Don't forget your fish food. Catch a big one.
Ingalls,
See you later, Dad.
all the ingredients for family.
The Sportsocracy.
That is some good team family fun there, ain't that?
We're back in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville. It is Sportsocracy Fantasy Marathon time. We're getting you prepared for the big fantasy season all week long here in the Sportsocracy. I am here in the Ingalls studio, as is Colby running the board, and Flostradamus joining us once again from Mullet Manor, putting off the time he has to come back to the studio every day.
I mean, have we confirmed that I'm actually coming back?
We have not yet. Until you darken this door, I am operating under the assumption that I will never see you until we go on the road.
Well, you know.
Or I mean, you do have to come up here on Thursdays to record some shows and stuff before the show.
Yes,
so,
I do have
this
other.
Thursday I won't be here, so I won't see you.
Yeah. So basically, the next time you physically see me in person might be in Atlanta, Georgia for Clemson and Georgia on August 31st.
It very well could be. You just never know. As we are getting ready for the fantasy season, though, today we wanted to talk about sleepers, talking sleeper running backs first. We'll get to all of the positions throughout the program today, so don't worry about it. We will draft our favorite sleepers, Jeremy and I, coming up in the daily draft in the third hour of the program. My sleeper fantasy running back for this year, and I mean, it is, I'm taking the easy way out here. To me, it's the most obvious one of all of them. There is some risk, but I got way more trust in this guy than probably anybody should. Does that give you a clue as to who I'm talking about?
Kyron Williams.
It's not Kyron Williams. It's Nick Chubb.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's a good one. I feel like the Nick Chubb thing has gotten to such a stupid point.
It's ridiculous.
That, I mean, all right, so let's just, I'm a big fan of empirical evidence. All right, Cleveland obviously knows where Nick Chubb is in his rehab, in his ability to come back, way better than you, I, or any other fan ever would. Any media member, anything like that. Fact or fiction?
Fact.
Did they do anything that makes you think he's not coming back?
No.
They have four quarterbacks. They're rolling with Jerome Ford and Pierre Strong again. Mm-hmm. Oh, and but they added Deontay Foreman. They sure did. And Deontay Foreman strikes me as if Nick's not quite ready week one, then we can roll with Jerome Ford for a few weeks, and Deontay Foreman would be the fallback plan.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see a legit starter there. Do you?
No.
Weird.
Jerome Ford is a nice injury replacement which is exactly what he was when Nick Chubb got hurt in, what was that, week 2 last year? Got hurt early in the season. He's due to come back. All of the things, obviously, they're not gonna be, what's that, front facing with major struggles. But have you seen the videos that they have shared? Have you seen the clips of him working out? Have you seen the clips of him running? Have you seen the clips of him squatting 600 pounds on that reconstructed knee? I get that there's more to just lifting weights for a running back, to show that a knee works, right? You got the agility, you got the motion, all of that. There are a whole lot of different motions that a knee has to go through to show that it's stable. So I'm not using that just on its face of, oh, he can lift 500 pounds in a squat, he's fine. No, but even if he comes back, let me rephrase that. When he comes back, it may take a minute or two. It may take a game or two to get back in the swing of things, but I have no real doubt that he's going to step up and take the RB1 spot there in Cleveland, no questions asked. He walks in day one. If he's ready to go, he's the guy. And in that offense, that means he's going to be getting 20 touches a week probably. Maybe not quite that much, but good.
Let me just ask you a theoretical question.
Mm-hmm.
As of right now, and this is according to Fantasy Pros, Nick Chubb is going as the 36th running back off the board.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know who the 36th highest scoring running back of last year was?
Jerome Ford.
Tyler Algier. Jerome Ford was 16.
Was he really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there any path, even let's say Nick Chubb plays 10 games, is there any path that he's not more valuable than what you got out of Tyler Algier at any point?
No.
That's kind of my point.
He is going to be worth that. And the fact that you're able to pick him up at RB 29, 89th overall. Look, I'm not saying you have to. Sometimes you'll have to take him earlier than that, right? Just gauge your league.
How high are you willing to take him?
Me, how high do I want to take him?
No. Not where you want to take. You want to take him where his ADP is right now. I got that.
Absolutely.
Where is your line? Who is the running back that you could not take Nick Chubb with the injury risk over?
Probably Ramondre.
Oh, you even went higher than I did. Yeah, my line is Raheem Mostert.
Okay.
Raheem Mostert's 23. Zamir White's 24. I would take Nick Chubb 100 times out of 100 over Zamir White.
Yes.
And wouldn't think about it. And then the further down that list I go, there's not a guy I wouldn't take him over.
Mm-mm.
And there's another one right in Nick's wheelhouse that I feel like is another one that needs to be mentioned right here.
Okay.
It's Austin Eckler.
Yeah.
You don't sound as intrigued by that one, which surprises me.
Well, I don't know what really to expect out of Washington. I don't know what that split's going to look like with him and Brian Robinson, because Robinson's still going to get towed. And
no, Robinson's the starter. I just want to preface this with that. I know that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I learned from the Jet Commander joint practice?
What's that?
Austin Eckler and Brian Robinson are going to be on the field together quite a bit.
Are they splitting Austin out?
They were sending him. They put him out as the slot receiver a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And for me, I look at Washington, a team that I think is going to be behind a lot. Austin Eckler's the passing down back. I'm not necessarily saying that the work he's going to get is super consistent or anything like that. I will say there's a possibility that he ends up as a top 20 running back in this league off nothing but junk time. Because he's the passing down back. We all know that.
Yes.
They're going to be behind a lot.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds...
It's two running backs that I'm very interested to see how they're used this year for fantasy purposes. And I am intrigued. I didn't mean to sound like I was poo-pooing the Austin Eckler suggestion. It's just, obviously, he's not where he once was, and you know how high I used to be on Austin Eckler. I was, head over heels. Like, I'm taking him at number 6 overall, and screw the rest of you. Like, that's how drunk I used to be on Austin Eckler. That's waned over the years. But it's Austin Eckler in Washington and Antonio Gibson up in New England. Just because of the lack of weapons that New England has and knowing his history as
Lord.
He used to be a wide receiver. I'm not saying he's worth anything in fantasy. I'm not going out there telling you to go get him. I'm just saying I'm interested to see how they're used because of the lack of weapons around them. They're running backs who will be split out wide.
He's low-key saying that he's going to have a lot of shares of Antonio Gibson because you just can't quit him.
I can't.
That is your loser boyfriend of the NFL.
Yes.
This is the bass player in a band that treats you like crap, and yet you're still there lugging amps every Friday night, and you just cannot stop doing it.
You don't think that he'll be used in that way? In New England?
No, I don't. I think he will be used as I would say he gets 20-ish% of the snap.
Mm-hmm.
He might catch some passes, but even like flexing him out wide, I mean, the best receiver on that team is Demario Douglas, who plays almost exclusively out of the slot.
Okay.
They have 2 more guys that play a lot out of the slot. And where does he fall in that pecking order?
Mm.
And it would be so deep that I'm just not interested. I will tell you there is one room that I'm interested in that we have not talked about, and it's Dallas.
You're interested in that running back?
I am, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
I think everybody's doing it backwards.
Huh.
I think everybody's doing it backwards. Everybody lost their mind when Ezekiel Elliott signed. First of all, he's LMNO dead. DED, dead. 2 years in a row, he has averaged 3.8 yards per carry or less. I think Rico Dowdle's the one you want. And I'm going to have him in a lot of places.
Mm-hmm.
Just solely because of the work. Because there's nobody else there. Royce Freeman and Deuce Vaughn. This is one of those times, it's kind of the same thing I said about Cleveland. It strikes me that Dallas did not feel the urge to do anything else. Jerry Jones has had a little crush on Derrick Henry for the better part of a decade. Didn't really even make any inroads to signing him.
Yeah.
What does that tell you? He thinks there's somebody there that can be the guy. It's not Ezekiel Elliott.
No. And the only one with a twinkle in their eye, or that could be a twinkle in his eye, in my opinion, would be Rico. I don't think it's Deuce Vaughn.
There are a few situations where I feel like people are getting excited about a running back or a situation or whatever the case may be, and I think you're getting excited about the wrong guy.
All right. Let's hold on to that. We'll get to that after the break. Here on ESPN Asheville is the Fantasy Marathon here in the Sportsocracy all week long. We will take a break. When we come back, we'll get just a bit outside and more on running back sleepers for 2024.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather.
You good?
All right. I'll be back in a minute.
ESPN Asheville.
Stunning afternoon, actually a stunning run here for late August standards. Lots of sunshine around, and it is going to be absolutely beautiful as we roll through the rest of the week. Hope you get some time to enjoy it. I've got to guess the heat's going to come back. It does look like it warms up toward the weekend or by the weekend. 75 and sunny today. Tonight, 52, 40s in some spots. Wednesday, sunshine 80. Thursday, sunshine 80. Friday, sunny 82. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stajic.
This report is sponsored by First Restoration Services.
Fire, flood, wind damage, arguably a homeowner's worst nightmare. For nearly 4 decades, First Restoration Services have been helping people recover from disasters with trust, integrity, speed, and quality. If you have a disaster, call them today. 1-800-537-6151 or online at frs247.com.
And now, another insurance story from...
Smart Bunny. Smart Bunny.
Wow, I wonder how much all this costs. Well, it can't be cheap. Do we even have enough for our own, you-know-what?
Honey, I heard he bought final expense insurance through the Smart Bunny app.
The Smart Bunny app?
Like on your phone?
I know what an app is.
For the love of all things decent, be quiet.
Get up to $25,000 of lifelong coverage for funeral expenses, debts, and other needs for as little as $14 a month. And no medical exam is required. So hop on the Smart Bunny app now and grab some final expense insurance.
Honey, are you buying the insurance, like, right now?
Time is precious.
So true.
Smart Bunny Insurance.
Smart Bunny. Smart Bunny.
Your insurance super app. Insurance is sold by Smart Bunny Insurance Services and underwritten by various companies. Coverage exclusions and limitations may apply.
Time with family, laughs with friends, and cash back? Discover's got you covered on the last one. That's because Discover doubles all the cash back you've earned on your credit card at the end of your first year with Cash Back Match. See terms at discover.com/credit card.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at clarissasellswnc.com. Download our free app on Google Play or the App Store. Type in Asheville Home Search. You'll be able to connect with our team and see all the available homes for sale in our area. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or clarissasellswnc@gmail.com.
Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics have teamed up under new ownership by an Asheville native to better serve our community with the finest custom apparel and unique branded items at the best price. Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics can customize whatever you, your team, business, or local group may need through high-quality screen printing, embroidery, and laser engraving right here in Asheville. Free personal delivery within Buncombe County and a reduced delivery fee anywhere in Western North Carolina. Visit ShowtimeSportsAVL.com and MountainGraphicsAVL.com. Your one-stop custom apparel shops.
At Ingles, whether we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park, it's all in the bag.
I'm back.
Low prices. Love the savings.
All right, good. 15 seconds. It's the Parks Promise. Our mission, to improve lives with every interaction. This is JW, General Manager at Parks Ford Hendersonville. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com. That's parksfordhendersonville.com.
Boy, you must be outside your mind.
The Sportsocracy.
Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
Back on ESPN Asheville. Time to get just a bit outside. And Kirk Cousins, is today his birthday?
Yes.
Or do Kirk Cousins and I share the same birthday?
You do. And
awesome.
you know what I learned today? That people born on August 20th, when they hit almost 40 years old, are the whitest middle-class dad in the history of time.
We're just basic, right? I mean, at this point, it's just you like what you like. And most of the stuff that you like is from, your 20s. So Kirk Cousins' birthday, to give him reins over the practice, they let him pick the playlist for the music that was going to be played during the Falcons practice. They have released said playlist, and it looks like every LimeWire CD that a white guy made in the year 2000.
Does it contain Creed?
Shockingly enough, there is no Creed.
If that's the
reason. That is the one white rock band that he left out of his
which
list.
is why the list sucks, because you took the best band that falls into that, and you went, I'd rather have Jimmy Eat World.
Yeah. I mean, that is a good song.
That is a terrible song.
The Middle is a good song.
That is a horrifically awful song.
The Middle is better than every Creed song put together.
That's without a doubt. I mean, and for you, this is a high bar. That is the dumbest damn thing you have ever said, and it's not really all that close.
Jimmy Eat World, The Middle, was the number one song on the playlist. Then you had 2 from the All-American Rejects. You have Green Day, only 1 from Green Day, shockingly enough, and he chose Holiday, which is a terrible
awful
song. He does have Stacy's Mom on there. So Fountains of Wayne, we all remember that song well. He's got some Blink-182 on here. I know there's people in the chat that will like that, although he chose All the Small Things, which is the most overplayed Blink-182 song in the history of time. He's got a couple songs from the Killers on here. Obviously, it's early 2000s. Mr. Brightside. I still can't watch that without thinking of Cameron Diaz dancing in that Christmas movie. Good Charlotte. He's got a couple of those on here. Foo Fighters, Maroon 5. I don't know what all-time low is, but I'm pretty sure 3 Doors Down and Yellow Card. Also, predominantly white man jork music.
I went to high school with the bass player from 3 Doors Down. So
yes, you did.
Yeah,
and I'm not throwing shade. I mean, 3 Doors Down, right in there with Creed. That is
awesome. You're right. Awesome.
That was their heyday.
Yeah, you're right. Those are right in there as awesome. And he took one song from those 2 bands, which is why Kirk Cousins' list sucks. Now, I do want to ask this. So if we gave you the Kirk Cousins treatment and let you pick the music for today, what would have been on your list?
Oh, boy. What would have been on my list? Well, I mean, there would be 0 songs other than probably, I don't know, maybe, no. Actually, I would have not included any of his music in this because, again, bad early 2000s, late 90s white rock. I'm just, I like to mix it up when I create my playlist. I would have something on there for everybody. I would throw some hip-hop in there for you, Jeremy. I would...
Yeah, but the only thing is you throw some hip-hop in there for me and it'd be Busta Rhymes.
No.
Which would just make me angry.
No, I would throw in at least some Dr. Dre or something.
It's markedly better than what I thought you were going to say.
I'll throw in some Juvenile for you. We'll back that thing up for sure.
Oh, good Lord.
Oh, if we're at practice, if I'm at practice with the Atlanta Falcons, right, I'm in Kirk Cousins' sphere here, we're 100% playing all the things that will make every person in there. I mean, you're going to like it. You're going to like what you hear. I'm a people pleaser.
All right, so I'm going to implore you.
Like, I could just imagine, like, dudes like AJ Terrell are walking around going, what the hell are we listening to?
No doubt.
This is hurting me. This is actually hurting my progression as an NFL player because this music sucks. Why would you subject your teammates to listen to Blink-182? For God's sakes, do not do that. That is a crime against humanity.
All right, I'm going to implore you. I want to make this a social media thing. We're going to run a poll of Tank's playlist against Kirk Cousins of which one sucks more. And I want you to legitimately think over the next 3 hours what your list would be. I want you to send it to me.
I'm going to do this. I'm going to pull up the iHeartRadio app. I will create a Tank's training camp practice playlist.
Yep.
And we'll share it with everybody.
Yep. And we'll put it out on social media tonight, and you can vote on it, which list is worse.
Yes.
After we just purely eviscerated Kirk Cousins and his horrid list.
I love making playlists, so this is a good exercise.
So I have a really quick outside story before we get back into the fantasy football things. Did you know that you can buy NFL Sunday Ticket through Apple?
Through Apple, okay.
You can buy it through Apple. It's in the Apple App Store, and you can watch it on your iPad or your iPhone, any of those things. It's with YouTube TV now. YouTube TV, the price is $349 a year, which that's about what it was with DirecTV. I don't really care.
It's way too much.
It's not way too much. It's what it costs. Okay, it's just that's what it costs.
It's gouging. That's how you got sued.
Yeah, well, you got sued because ESPN wanted to do it for cheaper, and well, now that's the thing we know.
Yeah.
Sunday ticket through YouTube TV, you can save $85. So that makes it like $265. How much do you think Sunday ticket costs through Apple? Now, you can only watch it on your iPhone or your iPad. It's not like Apple TV. This is for your mobile devices.
I'm going to guess roughly as much as a Cybertruck.
The Cybertruck.
You're not as far off as you'd think.
How are those things are so stupid?
$679.
Are you can't. No.
I'm 100% serious.
No.
And that's without Red Zone. If you want Red Zone, it's $739.99.
Hell no.
This is reason number 456 that Jeremy owns exactly 0 Apple products.
100%.
Because y'all are on something.
Wow.
I own a lot of them, which is precisely why I said about the same cost as a Cybertruck.
Now, here's the thing. Tank and I are members of the DC Stream universe, so we don't have to pay any of these prices. We have every game, every fight, anything you could ever want for markedly cheaper than both of the things that I just said.
No doubt.
And yes, before you ask me, it is legal. And the other thing, you install it yourself. So you don't have to have some sketchy guy whose last name is that of a city install it with his buddy named Rico.
Yes.
Who looks like he would break your legs if you didn't pay him on time.
Yes, and all for about a sixth of the price for what you could get it on Apple. That is insane.
Correct. That's actually, I'm impressed at your math. It's almost exactly a sixth of the price.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're interested, Pitwinkle in our YouTube chat, he's the DC Streams guy, and he will happily hook you up too.
There you go. Hit him up, Sir Jimothy. He was just asking, how do I get the details? Go get Pitwinkle. He knows all about it. He will hook you up, and you won't have to be a part of the death trap of Apple. That is insanity.
And if you don't want to do it through YouTube chat, you can message me, and I'll happily send you his contact information because he's a very, very, very good friend of mine.
Okay, but can I hook this up to like the Apple goggles, the Apple Vision, and do like
the what?
You know, like the goggles, the like immersive goggles. For that price, could I hook it up to the immersive goggles and do like 4D like Sunday ticket? I mean, is that what the price gouging is for? Can I watch it in like glorious 4D? Like,
yeah, that's insanity. That's way too much to pay to watch football games. You don't have to do that. We have your hookup.
Yeah, I don't care if they hook it up to the goggles and I get to see what they do in their off time. I don't. That's still a screw job.
It's just stupid.
I mean, and trust me, I've been around enough of these guys. I know what they do in their off time, and that's way more valuable than Sunday ticket is. $6.79 is still hammer time, and I don't like it.
Yeah, that is insanity. Sleeper running backs for fantasy football.
Hold on a minute. Before we get back into that, we have a very large super chat from one of our great listeners, Soaring Eagle.
Okay.
And a great way to support the show and Tank and I in our travels, because that super chats and Patreon and all those things, those are basically the Tank Jeremy Fun Time Fund. So if you want to see us review restaurants and things like that in Asheville, that's what we use to pay for our burgers and such. So we appreciate you greatly. He said, I know we're talking about sleepers, but let's talk about Dynasty real quick, specifically the first round. No matter who's on the board, wherever you're picking, if you don't at least think about taking Marvin Harrison Jr., you did it wrong. I don't disagree with anything you just said.
You would take him at 1 overall in a Dynasty draft.
I can't tell you definitively I would take him at 1. I can tell you definitively I would think about it.
Okay.
I would say I would consider Bijan Robinson. I would consider Justin Jefferson. I would consider Marvin Harrison Jr. I would consider Malik Neighbors. And that's probably the only 4 players I would really think about that hard.
Soaring Eagle says he had the 7th pick, and he took Marvin Harrison Jr. over Jamar Chase, Bijan Robinson, and Amon-Ra St. Brown.
My question would be, who in the world did these guys take? Is there a premium of some form, or did people fall in love with quarterbacks, which does tend to happen in dynasties? Because that would be my 4. I would be looking at Justin Jefferson, Bijan, Marvin Harrison Jr., and Malik Neighbors. And I think that's the order I would have them ranked in, but I could easily flip MHJ and Bijan. Justin Jefferson, for me, he's 101. He's 25 years old, and he's the best receiver in the sport.
Yeah. I started to think about it. Like, my first initial reaction when I saw Soaring Eagle's comment was, that's insanity. And then as I thought about it more, then now that he explains it, that he took him over Bijan, because Bijan Robinson was the one in my mind of, there's no way I'd take him over Bijan. But the more I think about it, I probably would. Just based on the lifespan of a running back.
That would be the reason I lean on receivers, because they play so much longer.
Precisely. I hadn't thought about it in that sense right away. But Soaring Eagle, I'd say you made the right call.
Oh, no doubt. At 7, no doubt.
At 1, I would never consider it. I don't think.
You just immediately go Justin Jefferson?
Yes. And then after that, we can have the discussion.
I was about to say.
CD would be in there. Jamar Chase, Bijan would be on the list. Oh, yeah, okay.
He just super chatted again. Man, I love that guy. So need that button.
Thank you, sir.
It is. He had CMC went 1, which is insanity.
No.
Justin Jefferson 2, CeeDee Lamb 3, CJ Stroud 4, Josh Allen 5, Tyreek Hill at 6. There are 3 of those that are smoking the good.
Did somebody auto pick Christian McCaffrey? Was that they were late to the draft and it was just the one that was in?
No, that's the buddy we all have. Everybody has that friend that we invite him because he's fun to hang out with. But when it comes to fantasy football, he sucks.
Oh, so he's me.
I wasn't going to say that because it's your birthday. I was going to let that die. But God bless you for falling on that sword yourself.
100%. You got to be honest. Not only do I preach, you got to be honest with your audience. You got to be honest with yourself.
I have always appreciated your ability to self-deprecate yourself.
I've always been great at that.
Tyreek, whoever took Tyreek Hill at 6, a guy that has literally out loud said, I'm going to play 2 more years.
Yes.
That's a bold strategy, Cotton.
A 30-year-old receiver. I don't care if he is number 1 in the league for the next 2 years. The man's already said he's done.
I literally am going to have to look just because I'm super curious where I have him. So I have Dynasty rankings. And I know where I think he is. And it starts with a 5.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, he wasn't that low. I have him at 38 in Dynasty.
Wow. You're in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville. We'll continue the discussion. Fantasy sleepers, running backs, wide receivers, quarterbacks, tight ends, hitting all the big positions before the end of the program here on ESPN Asheville. Take a quick break. We'll be back.
Right now at Wendy's, you can get a small...
You good?
...for $1. And literally everyone is going. The car behind you, going to get a $1 Frosty. The car ahead of you, already had one, going for a second. The person who cut you off earlier, you guessed it, $1 Frosty. Maybe it's all a sign for you to go get one. Just don't cut anyone off. No one likes that person. The iconic Frosty for $1, gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's. Not valid in a combo. Prices may be higher in Alaska, Hawaii, California, and via third-party delivery.
Cullowhee is the place to be for the Catamount Football home opener on Saturday, September 7th at 1 p.m. as nationally ranked WCU takes on Campbell at Bob Waters Field, E.J. Whitmire Stadium. It's Whiteout Whitmire as all fans are encouraged to wear white. The first 5,000 fans get a free Whiteout t-shirt. Advanced ticket sales start at just $16 for adults and $11 for kids. For tickets, visit catamountsports.com or call 800-34-GO-WCU. Proudly sponsored by Ingalls Markets and iHeartMedia Asheville. Go Cats!
He went to doctor after doctor looking for relief and always walked away discouraged.
Surgery and drugs hadn't worked before, so why would he try them again? That's when Carmen made an appointment at QC Kinetics.
I'll tell you one thing. I got a spring in my step. The bounce is back in my step. My quality of life improving exponentially since I've been going to QC Kinetics.
QC Kinetics has treated over 35,000 patients like Carmen, using their own healing components, concentrating them into damaged knees, hips, shoulders, and backs. No surgery, no drugs.
The pain's gone, quality of life so much better, and mentally I'm in such a better place because I know that I'm not going to wake up to the same old struggles that I have been dealing with every single day. 10 months ago, no joke, I was a prime candidate for a knee replacement. Today, I'm not because of the treatment I'm receiving at QC Kinetics.
Carmen finally got relief, and it was easy, starting with a free consultation at QC Kinetics.
Call QC Kinetics, 828-333-9517. That's 828-333-9517. 828-333-9517.
Our iHeartRadio Music Festival, presented by Capital One, September 20th and 21st.
T-Mobile Arena here in Las Vegas.
Stream live only on Hulu. A weekend full of superstar performances
from every genre.
Buy tickets now at AXS.com.
Football is back. Best bets, fantasy tips.
Especially if you're in a league with me, keep ignoring Kyron Williams.
And game-by-game analysis.
I will happily just bash your brains out with him.
The Sportsocracy, weekdays noon to 3 on ESPN Asheville.
It's time to kick off the perfect tailgate and take your team to Ingles. Chips and guac made fresh in store every day. The best meat in town packaged fresh every day. And smiling faces giving you their best every day. Let's be real. In the South, football season is our favorite season of the year. There's a lot to smile about, especially with deals like these. Ingles. Low prices, love the savings.
Do better, be better every day. That's the Parks Promise. This is JW with Parks Fort Hendersonville, and I'm so excited to introduce our first Parks Promise community hero, the American Red Cross of Western North Carolina. The need for blood is so important, and in the summer months, the need is even greater. Did you know that you can donate every 56 days? Save lives this summer. Head to redcross.org to schedule an appointment or find a blood drive near you. Congratulations to the American Red Cross, our Parks Promise community hero.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Stunning afternoon, actually a stunning run here for late August standards. Lots of sunshine around, and it is going to be absolutely beautiful as we roll through the rest of the week. Hope you get some time to enjoy it. I've got to guess the heat's going to come back. It does look like it warms up toward the weekend or by the weekend. 75 and sunny today. Tonight, 52, 40s in some spots. Wednesday, sunshine 80. Thursday, sunshine 80. Friday, sunny 82. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stajic.
This report is sponsored by First Restoration Services.
Fire, flood, wind damage, arguably a homeowner's worst nightmare. For nearly 4 decades, First Restoration Services have been helping people recover from disasters with trust, integrity, speed, and quality. If you have a disaster, call them today. 1-800-537-6151 or online at frs247.com.
Call the experts at Zero Res Air Duct Cleaning and mention ESPN Asheville to get $50 off your next air duct cleaning service. Use code AIR50 at zeroresasheville.com. Zero Res, it's the right way to clean.
Gerber Life would like to discuss the importance of guaranteed life insurance.
No thank you.
I get it. Thinking about life insurance means having to think about the end of...
I'm not listening.
So, I'll be short and sweet. If you're 50 plus or 50 to 75 in New York, you can apply for Gerber Life Guaranteed Life Insurance with guaranteed acceptance regardless of your health. Yep, you don't even need a medical exam to qualify. Now that's worth thinking about. Gerber Life Guaranteed Life Insurance. For a free quote, go to GerberLifeFamily.com. See website for terms and restrictions.
This is a weekly test of the emergency alert system. This is only a test.
In this week's Marketers Report, Angela Zapata, CMO Hyundai Motor America, discusses measuring audio.
The measurement capability within audio, I think, surprised all of us. We have seen a huge return on our investment. Seeing real numbers has helped us continue to invest.
As the #1 audio company, iHeartMedia gives marketers access to the data, audiences, and influencers you need to grow. If you're a marketer, go to iHeartResults.com.
From the Ingalls Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart Radio Station.
Now your chance at $1,000 and a trip to our iHeartRadio Music Festival. Text the nationwide keyword Vegas to 200-200. You'll get a confirmation text and info. Standard data and message rates apply in this nationwide contest. That's Vegas to 200-200.
Live from the Ingalls studio.
I can't wait to play with myself every day.
The Sportsocracy.
Damn the devil to hell! Let the big dog see! Let him on the field!
Come get you some of this.
Fire them cannons! By golly, put more powder in those things.
He couldn't take any more disappointment.
Oh, my God. The Jets killed him.
It is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM and 1400. The Sportsocracy is heard everywhere you go on the iHeartRadio app, seen everywhere on YouTube. Go to thesportsocracy.com, click that live video link, subscribe to the channel so you can join us in the chat. A couple of super chats already from Soaring Eagle talking about fantasy football. You want to get your questions in, get noticed. That's a great way to do so. You know, when that little thing pops up and says, hey, somebody's giving you money. We go, oh, that guy first. That's how that works.
We immediately go, that was awful kind, and we appreciate that.
Some people call it pay for play. This is, just showing a little appreciation to those.
I'll play a lot for the right amount of pay. Just throwing that out there.
And
the $1 Million Man taught me when I was a kid, everybody's got a price, and mine is lower than you would think.
Do you still have NCAA eligibility?
Yeah. I have all kinds. I mean, when you drop out of college, it's pretty easy to just, hey, if you don't complete college, you keep that in perpetuity forever.
That is true. I still have eligibility. I just watched Necessary Roughness yesterday.
I mean, you got Monty Harrison, the former utility guy for the Marlins, now checking into the Arkansas Razorbacks at what, 29?
Yeah, I'm 37, and I actually sneezed so hard that I think I broke a rib about a month ago.
Yeah, I already got one heart attack under my belt. I don't need to be trying to push things out there on a football field at 40. That ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, I've seen Tank run. His feet never actually get more than 3 inches off the ground. No. He looks like a South Park character when he runs. Just get.
Get after it, Kyle. Get after it, Kyle. Let him rip, son.
Fantasy football sleepers here at the Sportsocracy. We need to finish up the running back discussion. Somebody had asked, before we got sidetracked on the Just Outside news.
Which we do every day.
Segment. Of course we do.
We've got to find a better place to put those things because we just go down 20-minute rabbit holes every time we do them.
Can't help it. That's kind of how we roll. We had talked about, or Jeremy had talked about Rico Dowdle and how there are some position groups, especially at running back in fantasy football this year, where he feels like people are doing it wrong. You're focusing on the wrong guy. Maybe there are some people out there that still think Ezekiel Elliott has some gas in the tank, but the point was that Rico Dowdle, the former AC Reynolds Rocket from right here in Asheville, may very well be the guy that gets the tote in Dallas this year. He's currently going as RB45 and like 149 overall. So what's that, 14th round, 15th round?
Yeah, it depends where you look. The consensus on Fantasy Pros has him right in the 11-12 swing.
Okay.
Which means he's going higher somewhere. Doesn't necessarily mean he's going that high everywhere.
It just may be that's where people are finally figuring out, oh, wait. You mean there's still a starting running back available in the 12th round? Yes, please. I will take that. What are some other position groups or what are other teams where you feel like this is happening?
Cincinnati. I feel like Zach Moss is the one that's going considerably higher right now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think if you told me right now I had to bet between those two of which one scores more points this year, Chase Brown or Zach Moss, I would put a substantial substantial wager on Chase Brown.
As would I. Currently at like 115 overall.
Which to me is insane.
38th amongst running backs. I mean, is it that insane? Because they kind of have all of the same competition guys, all right in the same area here. Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins and Trey Benson in Arizona. Obviously, James Conner's going way higher, but there could be tote for him. Jerome Ford with the Nick Chubb injury. There are a lot of people who want to go out and get Jerome Ford because if Nick Chubb does have a setback and misses the first 4 or 5 weeks, I still want a piece of that Cleveland running game if I can afford it. And Jerome Ford is in a place where seems to be I can afford it.
Jerome Ford's a great handcuff. I guess I'm looking at Devin Singletary. Okay, but he's the starter for the Giants. Okay. Have you ever played the game Frogger? You remember they had the little frog you had to cross the street?
Oh, yeah.
If Frogger had a level that was as evil as Heisman in college football 25, that's how Devin Singletary is going to feel trying to run behind that New York Giants offensive line.
I agree.
I do not understand how anybody on this planet gets there. I don't understand how anybody gets there with Javonte Williams. I know we like the talent. We love the kid. He's a Carolina guy. We liked him. Sean Payton doesn't. He stole a number out of Sean Payton's pocket or something because he don't like him at all.
Why do you say that?
That was one of those inside baseball things Tank knows. I know. Y'all don't, but we do. He just likes having 6 running backs. And so Jaleel McLaughlin and God, there's another one there that Samaje Perine. They're all going to get towed. So basically what you're telling me is an offense that is just bad in Denver is going to sustain a running back out of a full committee with at least 3 running backs in it, better than Cincinnati, which is a good offense, can maintain 2. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Any running back that plays for the Pittsburgh Steelers, I'm good. Based off what I've seen out of that offensive line, I'm pretty sure they could have Walter Payton and Barry Sanders back there and still not average more than 4.2 yards a carry.
Yeah, apparently it's the same old story with that offensive line.
Somehow it got worse.
Camp so far.
I'm not sure. I didn't think that was possible.
Mm-hmm.
And it has looked worse.
That it has. Javonte Williams is he's actually one that I'm kind of interested in.
I'm not at all. I'm interested in Jaleel McLaughlin because he's going so low that he's a fun little dart throw if something were to happen where it limited itself down to 2 guys.
Mm-hmm. But for a guy that had over like 230 touches last year, Javonte Williams got a lot of tote last year. Now, he didn't do a whole lot with it.
There's the problem.
I mean, he averaged like 3.6 yards per carry, which is awful. Not good.
Yeah.
I fully admit that.
It was also a 1/10 of a yard better than what Ezekiel Elliott did last year. Just so you know.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, Jaleel McLaughlin averaged 5.5 yards a carry last year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested in one. I'm not interested in the other.
I am interested in both. Just so whichever one it ends up being, I want to be in on the action because I think that there again that's another team that's going to run the football. Although Bo Nix, second coming, right?
Oh God.
There's another backfield that I would like to talk about here, unless you have another one you want to get to first.
I mean, I have several, but whatever you got, we can do that first.
Well, I wanted to shift over to the Carolina Panthers.
Okay.
Because I am very interested in Jonathan Brooks. I don't know what the injury is going to be. I don't know how they're going to manage his tote early on whenever he's ready to come back. But Jonathan Brooks in that Dave Canales system, and the one thing that Dave's been talking about is, I want to run the damn ball. Now, you see how they ended out the preseason game. They ran it 7 times in a row this past weekend.
Yeah, but don't put anything into that. They were trying to run out the clock because the game was already over. And they knew if we throw it, there is a great chance that this is going to be an interception. Those last 7 runs, it wasn't, hey, look, this is our way of moving the ball. It was, can this be over, please? And the Jets laid down and allowed one god-awful missed tackle. Anyway, sorry.
After the game, Dave Canales said, that is Carolina football. That's what we need to do. We are going to run the ball, and if you let us run it down your throats, we're going to do it. I don't see Chuba Hubbard being that guy. Eventually, by the end of the season, I believe that will be Jonathan Brooks' time.
I worry about everything in Carolina. Look, you know how I feel about Jonathan Brooks. I think he's a really good running back. I do think he's going to come off PUP. I do think he's going to be up week 1. Even if he's not, it doesn't really change much because that's still going to be a just gross committee. Because Chuba's running as the 1. Miles Sanders is still there. I do love how one bad year out of him, and now he just is the worst running back in the history of time. Meanwhile, people will still keep lathering up Najee Harris like, no, he's good. No, he's not. No, he's really, really, really bad. So Miles Sanders is still in the mix there too.
Okay.
I also laughed until I almost piddled in my pants when I heard Dave Canales say, that's Carolina Panther football. You do understand you were averaging 1.7 yards a carry before that last drive, right? Oh, well, we ran it 7 times while we were trying to bleed the clock, and that's what you wanted to lean on. Okay. That's a little Johnny Rah-Rah for me because they couldn't run at all the rest of the night.
Well, I mean, it wasn't until the 4th stringers got in there and you were finally able to move the ball.
Oh, I mean, it was.
I mean, they hadn't been playing anybody. But they hadn't been playing anybody. More, I guess, what I'm the only things that I can glean or that I feel like I can glean from late game scenarios like that is that's kind of what Dave Canales wants the first string to look like. He wants them to be able to. That's the scheme that he wants to run.
Well, and here would be my problem with that would be you had a 2-minute drill in the first half where you didn't do that. And you had 58 minutes of football where you hadn't done that. I mean, I'm telling you, I sat there in the stadium and watched them do this. If the Jets had stopped them behind the line of scrimmage, they just let the clock run out. They almost let it run out anyway. That wasn't like a scheme or a tactic or anything like that. That was, we are trying to bleed the clock, and you can put whatever lipstick on that pig you want to. There's nothing to glean there. The thing that would encourage me if I wanted a Carolina Panther running back, I think they're going to throw to the running backs a lot, which is why I've almost got to the point that I'm looking at Miles Sanders going, I could convince myself with where he's going at 70 among running backs, I could find a path that I do that. Not because I think he's going to be a bell cow, but because I think Carolina's going to be behind a good bit, and he's the best receiver out of the backfield on that team, and it's not really all that close.
The only question I would have in doing that and taking that late flyer on him is he worth doing that for the final spot? Do you feel you have to do that, or you'll miss him on the waiver wire?
No. I mean, and I'm not saying I would necessarily draft him. I'm just saying I can see a path that I roster Miles Sanders before this year is over.
Now that makes a lot of sense. I was thinking in draft terms of, do I really have to? I can just wait.
Yes, you
I
can.
can just wait and get him on the waiver wire.
There are two more situations that I really need to touch on before we get out of this topic.
Yep.
Las Vegas is one. I don't know why everybody seems to just be chalking up that Zamir White's going to be the guy. I don't really get that. He's never shown me anything that makes me think that.
Who's it going to be?
Alexander Madison's the backup.
Okay.
Zamir White got 104 carries last year. And I get it. They had Josh Jacobs, and I don't dispute any of those things. Why'd you sign Alexander Madison? That's a starting level running back. At the very least, it's a 50-50 split.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's at the least. I'm not sure that Alexander Madison doesn't actually get more tote than Zamir White does.
Yeah. The answer to your question, you just said it. Why did they sign Alexander Madison? Because they looked at this roster and went, we have to have at least one running back that's starting level in this
But
league.
why did you get one that's literally a mirror copy of your starter? Because you don't believe in him that much.
Of course
you
not.
want a thump, and you needed an extra thumper. That's damning evidence to me.
Mm-hmm.
The other one is the Los Angeles Chargers. You know what I'm about to say.
And whatever that's going to be. It's Kamani Vidal season.
Kamani Vidal's the best of the three. To me. And I know he's running as the 3, and I've heard about J.K. Dobbins and the Gus Bus, and okay. You fall for that if you want to. I don't buy it. I don't buy it, and I've never bought it.
Mm-hmm. If I find myself drafting a Charger running back, it's only after I have all the pieces already. I've drafted every piece to my fantasy team. I've got my starters. I've even got my third and fourth options at running back. And then when we get down there, if they're still available, okay, I might throw a bone at J.K. Dobbins or Gus Edwards when we get down to that point.
Can I give you my thought process on why the only Charger running back that I have any interest in touching is Kamani Vidal?
Yes.
It's path to work. All right, right now Gus Edwards is going in the late 30s. J.K. Dobbins is going in the early 40s among running backs. Kamani Vidal's not even getting drafted, in large part. Are any of those three valuable as long as all three of them are healthy?
No.
No. There's no path because they're all three going to play. Kamani Vidal's the best pass blocker of those three, and it's not even kind of close. So in passing downs, he's going to get the work. J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards are going to split between the tackles work. I don't know which one will actually start. I think they'll bring J.K. along slowly. But he's been hurt so many times, it's hard for me to count on that. But if J.K. Dobbins were to go down, God forbid, and I don't even want to say that, if he decided to go whack surfboards, Kamani Vidal would be really, really interesting to me. Because that's a team that I don't think is very good. I think they're going to be behind a lot. And Vidal's going to be in on 80% of the passing downs. And, oh, by the way, they don't have a whole lot of receivers that I feel all that good about either. I see a path that Vidal is actually useful. I don't really see that path out of the other two.
Okay. They are going to be used. They are all going to get tote, as Jeremy said. And if everybody's healthy, that is a nightmare. Just as it always was in Buffalo, or not in Buffalo, in Baltimore when they were healthy. Greg Roman is their offensive coordinator. It's the reason that they have rebuilt this there with Gus and J.K. Kamani is the wild card, and he is the most interesting out of the three, and will have the most value by the end of the season. I have no doubts about any of that.
By the way, the guys I'm drafting at the end of the season's all I care about anyway.
Yes. Okay. So Kamani Vidal's the only one that you would take. And the only way that I'm taking any of them is if I can get dirt cheap way late. I'm going to let somebody else fall on that sword if they have to. But it's like we always say, everybody's got a price. And if somebody falls to a stupid level and you think that there's a chance that they could win you a couple of weeks, I feel like that, you get to that point where it's too late not to make that decision, to have them on your team. You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. When we come back, put a pin in the running backs. We'll talk tight ends next.
So many people here are getting real lasting joint pain relief from QC Kinetic.
You're good.
Says changed my life. I would recommend QC to anybody. The work that QC Kinetics did paid off exponentially.
It brought me back to an effective age of almost in my 20s and 30s.
QC Kinetics uses cutting-edge regenerative medicine, natural biologics from your own body, precision treatments that can restore and repair damaged tissue in your aching joints, with no meds, no steroids, no drugs, and no downtime.
I got a very quick resolution to my pain.
It is a all-natural therapy. You're using you to fix you.
I got my life back. I got my smile back. And best of all, I got my laugh back.
Don't live with that pain anymore. And don't let them tell you surgery is your only option. Learn more about regenerative options from the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics. Call now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 828-333-9517. That's 828-333-9517. 828-333-9517.
This is the story of the one. As a facility technician installing a new welding station, he knows getting the ventilation right is critical for safety. That's why when questions arise, there's Grainger. Grainger offers detailed technical product information online at his fingertips, so it's easy to find what he needs. Because when it comes to safety, having answers means he and his people can breathe a little easier. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Every business faces challenges, but complicated, expensive, and uncertain shipping shouldn't be one of them.
With USPS Ground Advantage from the United States Postal Service, you can avoid all the noise.
No more unexpected surcharges, hidden fees, or complex rate structures.
It's just easy, cost-effective, and dependable shipping. Tune your business's frequency to success and turn shipping to your advantage. Learn how at USPS.com/advantage. USPS Ground Advantage. Simple, affordable, reliable.
Attention drivers, Ingalls Markets is hiring experienced CDLA holders for our local fleet. As an Ingalls driver, you start earning paid time off on day one. Our local drivers earn an average salary of $75,000 a year, but that's not all. You'll also enjoy great benefits like medical, dental, and vision insurance, plus a 401k with company matching and weekly pay. If you have a year or more of driving experience, apply online today at inglescareers.com. That's inglescareers.com.
Do better, be better every day. That's the Parks Promise. This is JW with Parks Fort Hendersonville, and I'm so excited to introduce our first Parks Promise community hero, the American Red Cross of Western North Carolina. The need for blood is so important, and in the summer months, the need is even greater. Did you know that you can donate every 56 days? Save lives this summer. Head to redcross.org to schedule an appointment or find a blood drive near you. Congratulations to the American Red Cross, our Parks Promise community hero.
This summer, Dale's Pale Ale salutes freedom. Freedom in fabric, or the fabric of freedom. Denim Dale's available for a limited time in the blue jean box. Dale's salutes everyone who works hard, plays hard, and relaxes hard. Life's more than about what you pack in your dinner. Though, we're packing beer, so we win. Seize the Dales. Unwind in style with a cool breeze up the jorts. Just look for the beer in the blue jean box.
The Sportsocracy.
What are you people? On dope?
We're back in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville. Welcome in. You can follow us on all the social medias at the Sportsocracy. Check us out on the YouTube stream as well. Get in on the comments there. We're talking fantasy sleepers here on the program. Mr. Tight End Whisperer, live from Mullet Manor. And this year, who's your darling sleeper tight end?
Well, this year I'm preaching a new thing. I have seen the light. I am the tight end whisperer, but I have found tight end religion, and I'm telling you to I preach abstinence. You abstain from taking a tight end until you absolutely cannot abstain any longer. There are so many good tight ends in this league at this point that there's really no reason. I love Trey McBride. I'm never going to tell you not to draft Travis Kelce or Sam Laporta. I just don't think I'm going to find myself doing it very often. Then there's that mid-tier that I love Dalton Kincaid. I just think he's going to see more double coverage than you ever see a tight end get. Because there's just nobody else that really scares you. I mean, Keon Coleman, I love him. So
Marquez Valdez-Scantling.
Oh, stop. I'm finding myself doing the TJ Hawkinson and then. Almost exclusively. And the one that I like the best is stacking TJ Hawkinson and Tyler Conklin. The Jets' early schedule is boo. They don't play defenses that are all that scary early on. Yes, they play San Francisco early, week 1. I get that. Look at the other games they play. They play Tennessee in week 2. That's a good defense, but the biggest weakness is at safety. And then you go down that list, those first 6 weeks, Tyler Conklin could be a top 10 tight end in the league. Then TJ Hawkinson comes back and let the good times roll. That's been my favorite strategy so far.
Okay. I mean, if you're not going to, at this point, you're having to spend major capital to get those tight ends at the top. Especially if you're in a tight end premium, you're seeing Sam Laporta, Travis Kelce going at the back end of the first round, first couple of picks of the second round. Is the difference between the top tight ends and Sam Laporta and Travis Kelce? Are we at a point now? Let's say without the premium, because I don't feel like that's mainstream as much.
It's becoming that way, but it's better to talk about it without it.
Right. It's kind of a specialty league. Normally, PPR has become the standard. The premiums don't really exist in the common world, I guess. But without the premiums, is the point differential that much between the first tight end off the board and the 11th tight end off the board?
Well, it was for an extended period of time. Then you got to last year, and last year kind of dumped it on its head because you had 6 tight ends score over 200 points, and nobody scored more than 240. So that top half was pretty close. Then there's a pretty significant drop-off, but it goes forever. And then you look at the guys that either they didn't start out as starters, which would be Dalton Kincaid, Trey McBride, and then they came on later. That adds 2 more that go to that top level. Mark Andrews got hurt. Dallas Goedert got hurt. Kyle Pitts got hurt by Arthur Smith. I mean, maybe you see my point here of everybody's going to have one. Everybody's going to have one. I will tell you this, though. I don't admit I was wrong on a guy this early very often. I was wrong on Ben Sinnott.
Oh, yeah? Is he a dog?
He's going to be really, 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 really good. I had people with the Jets that I trust that say he's the best weapon they have. That's Terry McLaurin. That's De'Ami Brown, whose name I heard a lot. Ben Sinnott's a dog. And don't let Zach Ertz worry you there, because he is not going to stop anything from happening with Ben Sinnott. If you're looking for a deep flyer, and now you'd have to be in a little bit of a deeper league, because I think I still have him at like 18 among tight ends.
His ADP for Fantasy Pros is at 23. That's 212 overall.
Yeah, I mean, you don't necessarily even have to draft him. I'm just going to tell you, he's a guy you should keep an eye on. And I'm almost tempted to just draft him as like 16 on my roster.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to cut him. I'm just not going to do it because I'm telling you by mid-year when Washington figures out, we're not real good. And this is not going the way we want it to. You're going to see a lot of Ben Sinnott. And that's fantasy playoff time. He's a really valuable piece. And then you get into that extra layer of guys that are going to be – Mike Gesicki's not going to get drafted. And in an offense that's that pass-happy that I think he fits pretty well, that's a guy you're always going to know is just sitting out there on the waiver wire. I'm almost to the point of not drafting one at all. And just going, you know what? I'll go 0 tight end, and I'll play the waiver wire game with Tyler Higbee, Gerald Everett, Jatavian Sanders, Michael Mayer, Mike Gesicki, Isaiah Likely, Ben Sinnott. I mean, there's a ton of them out there. And I don't think there's a lot of difference.
Yeah, by doing that, though, how much stronger can you make the rest of the roster?
Depends on how early they start going.
Right. The only reason to do that would be, can you make up the difference somewhere else?
Can I get an extra running back that is playable?
Mm-hmm.
Actually, no, let me say that a different way. Can I get an extra running back that is playable and doesn't need somebody to either get hurt or get abducted by aliens to be usable? Because if you're telling me I have 4 of those and you have 3, you're one injury away from being LMNO screwed.
Mm-hmm.
And with 4, I'm not. And if that's the difference in me getting Sam Laporta or me rolling with TJ Hawkinson, yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I'll take that extra running back. Hawk will be back in week 6. Sam Darnold's I will say he's a bottom third of the NFL quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And they tend to love tight ends.
And I was going to say, even later in the draft, if you don't believe that Kyle Pitts is going to have a breakout year with Kirk Cousins, more do you like it with waiting on Kyle Pitts, or you don't take Kyle Pitts, you wait to take a tight end at the end of the draft, or don't take one at all, and you could replace him with Ramondre Stevenson?
Your favorite – I agree with you wholeheartedly. Yeah. Your favorite value at tight end, liking the player, liking the situation, liking where they're being drafted, your favorite value of that type. I mean, you can say Sam Laporta if you think he's the number 1 tight end in fantasy football and he's not going high enough for you. No. Who is your best bang for your buck tight end in fantasy football?
I believe it is Pitts, because I think Pitts is going to have a breakout with Kirk Cousins.
I am not going to begrudge you from that. I don't envision a path that I'm doing it.
Mm-hmm.
This is like the stripper girlfriend that, I mean, all right, I'm running out of best friends here, and you've done this enough times that I ain't forgiving you again.
Right.
Mine is Jacob Turd Ferguson, who I can't stop doing it.
Yeah.
You have no receivers, and he's going in tandem with Brock Bowers, who I don't even know that he's a starter at this point. I think he's a great talent. Tight ends tend to start really slowly. Tight ends that are being used in 2 tight end sets, which he will be, tend to start even slower. I love the talent, but if you're telling me I got to choose between him and Jake Ferguson, I'm not thinking about that real hard.
Okay. You're in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville. Take a quick break. When we come back, it'll be, well, we want to skip weird so we can just get into the wide receivers. I think we should do that.
I have a good weird story, though.
Do you?
I do.
All right. Well, maybe we'll touch on weird real quick when we come back, and then we'll get into the fantasy wide receivers, the sleeper wide receivers for 2024. We'll be right back here in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Stunning afternoon, actually a stunning run here for late August standards. Lots of sunshine around, and it is going to be absolutely beautiful as we roll through the rest of the week. Hope you get some time to enjoy it. I've got to guess the heat's going to come back. It does look like it warms up toward the weekend or by the weekend. 75 and sunny today. Tonight, 52, 40s in some spots. Wednesday, sunshine 80. Thursday, sunshine 80. Friday, sunny 82. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist.
Are you there?
This report is sponsored by First Restoration.
All right. He had to run out of the room for a second. He sneezed while we were in the middle of that last segment, and his nose started bleeding. I told him he's going to have to stop doing so much cocaine. But
1-800-537-6151.
Sounds like a winner.
Or online at...
Yeah, so.
Get ready
Hopefully he'll be back in just a second.
for iHeartRadio Music Festival, presented by Capital One, and $1,000.
T-Mobile Arena here in Las Vegas, September 20th and 21st.
Streaming live only on Hulu.
Buy tickets now at AXS.com. One of the most anticipated live music events of the year.
You have to see this to believe it.
Brought to you by Hyundai's lineup of electric vehicles, electrifying your summer and your journey to the iHeartRadio Music Festival.
Call Zero Res Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning today and mention ESPN Asheville to get a free hallway cleaned with 3 rooms of carpet for only $129. Book online at ZeroResAsheville.com.
As fall approaches, you have a lot to prepare for. Back to school, sporting events, family gatherings, and staying on top of your health. The virus that causes COVID-19 continues to evolve. So this fall, no matter what you're prepping for, you can prioritize your family's health and make a game plan for COVID-19 vaccination. Ask your doctor or pharmacist to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at clarissasellswnc.com. Download our free app on Google Play or the App Store. Type in Asheville Home Search. You'll be able to connect with our team and see all the available homes for sale in our area. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or clarissasellswnc@gmail.com.
Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics have teamed up under new ownership by an Asheville native to better serve our community with the finest custom apparel and unique branded items at the best price. Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics can customize whatever you, your team, business, or local group may need through high-quality screen printing, embroidery, and laser engraving right here in Asheville. Free personal delivery within Buncombe County and a reduced delivery fee anywhere in Western North Carolina. Visit ShowtimeSportsAVL.com and MountainGraphicsAVL.com. Your one-stop custom apparel shops.
At Ingles Weather, we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park. It's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Do better, be better every day. That's the Parks Promise. Our mission, to improve lives with every interaction. This is JW, General Manager at Parks Ford Hendersonville. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com. That's parksfordhendersonville.com.
On the weird scale, there's Vegas, there's Florida, and there's Asheville. Let's get weird, Asheville.
It is ESPN Asheville. Time to get weird, and I'm always, willing to share groundbreaking studies with you whenever I find new information about, the important things in life. Many of us rely on coffee every day. Flostradamus, for some reason, has lost the taste for coffee.
I quit smoking, and I dislike coffee more by the week. And I used to drink it by the pot.
Right. His taste buds came back after he stopped smoking, and now he realized that coffee tastes like crap. I did the exact opposite. When I stopped smoking, I liked coffee better. And there was a recent study that was done about, the correlations between coffee drinking and cardiovascular disease. right? We've heard this for a long time, that you drink too much coffee, it could be bad for your heart. The stimulants and all of that could be a problem. There's also concern that it may harden the arteries. As somebody who is 1 year removed from a heart attack, I pay attention when I see things like this. This comes to us from the British Cardiovascular Society. They had a conference in Manchester where they unveiled the findings of a study where they researched over 8,000 people in the UK. And they found that the people in the study who drank anywhere from less than 1 cup of coffee a day to 25 cups of coffee a day, no hardening of the arteries.
25 is quite excessive.
That was the one where I went, wait a minute. I need to know how many people in this study of 8,000 drink upwards of 20 to 25 cups of coffee in one day. That's insanity, and you probably deserve to die if you're drinking that much coffee.
That is
insanity.
The smallest pot. If you got a 10-cup pot, that's 3 pots of coffee, because the cup rating is not how many cups of coffee you actually get. Took me forever to figure that out. Like a 10-cup carafe holds 7 or 8 cups.
Yep.
Don't ask me why that is. I don't know. It's one of the dumber things I've ever heard, but it is true.
Yeah. After undergoing MRI, heart scans, and infrared pulse wave tests, the research showed that, quote, no increased stiffening of arteries was associated with those who drank up to the 25 cups a day, and those when compared with those who drank less than 1 cup of coffee per day. So no hardening in the arteries, so says the British Cardiovascular Society.
Okay. Well, I guess I need to go back to drinking coffee, because I've never heard one of those with how many energy drinks I drink a day, and it's significant. My story comes from Louisiana. My favorite stories, favorite news articles, favorite everything, is the article where every sentence you did not see that coming. Like you ever get halfway through a story and you go, I know how this is going to end. I love the ones where as things keep flowing, you keep seeing things where you go, I didn't think that's where that was going to go. My story's from Louisiana. It's about a content creator. Her name is Megan Baker. She goes by the name Ariel Miles on OnlyFans. Well, business was not picking up to the level that she wanted it to. So she got creative. Tank, what's the best way to grow a business? Advertise locally with us, Jeremy, at thesportsocracy.com, if you'd like to advertise your business on this here program. That's what she did. But she went old school. She put up a billboard right beside a school. It's got the OnlyFans logo, her picture, and her OnlyFans handle.
Nope, you ought not do that.
Now, there's nothing illegal about it. You didn't do anything wrong. It's fine. Entrepreneurial. I get it.
Yeah, you didn't do anything criminal, but did you do something wrong?
For me, it's 6 one way, half a dozen the other.
It's a school, Jeremy.
It's a high school. It's not like she did it in front of an elementary school. And I got news for you. If you know a high schooler, I'm going to go out on a limb and say they probably already know about this anyway. But that's not the point. It's on the busiest street in their town. We have yet to get to the point where I didn't see elementary school coming. I really didn't see the next 2 things I'm going to tell you. So, billboards are expensive. And she was trying to promote her business, which wasn't doing so well. So immediately, in my brain, I went, how did you pay for a billboard if you're OnlyFans? But her boyfriend bought it for her birthday. It was a birthday present from her boo, who quit his job to be her business manager.
Oh, wow.
Yep. You see where
he had it made.
You see what I was talking about here? Where every time I read another line, I went, nope, didn't see that coming. How in the world do you... I mean, look, I'm the least jealous person you'll ever meet in your life. But I bought my girlfriend a billboard to promote her smut. Okay. All right. Do you have business cards? Like, I have so many questions. Do you have business cards that say onlyfans.com? I can't remember his name. I don't know if it was ever in the story. But I'm the promoter for Ariel Myers. It's my business partner and my girlfriend. Mm-hmm. What do you sell? Her. Oh. Wah, wah.
Yeah. Well, I don't sell her because that would be illegal.
Well, okay. You took that way too literally.
I did that on purpose. Wow, that's creepy. I'm still just grossed out by the OnlyFans kid that does the OnlyFans videos for his mom. That's
that was the girlfriend.
And nothing you ever tell will ever touch that. Like, okay, boyfriend manages OnlyFans girlfriend. Sure, that makes way more sense than my kid edits my OnlyFans. Austin Groves. You win. You win. Comment of the day. A gift. I'm guessing we can't read this one.
I mean, I'm gonna have to be really careful when I read it, but I can read it. A gift from Boo for us to see his booze holes.
Mm-hmm. Parts.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Austin Groves, you win today. Yeah. You win today. That's fantastic. I've read that story 4 times because I've been wanting to tell that story every time we've done a show since I came back.
And we're so glad you brought it to us. It's the only kind of stories. I mean, those kind of stories. That's what you get here in the Sportsocracy.
So good.
Fantasy football sleepers.
Let's do quarterbacks right here because we got a short segment.
Okay, so the quarterbacks in fantasy football. Who's the sleeper darling for you?
For me, I can't figure out. So, what is it about Justin Herbert that has pushed him so low?
Well, you just said a minute ago that their whole team sucks. So,
okay,
he has no weapons, right?
Okay.
He has a terrible running game. So, what is there to like about Justin Herbert?
That he's a stat accumulator and he's really good at football. I really do. This is one of the more dumbfounding things that I think I've ever seen. Justin Herbert missed almost 5 full games last year. He still finished his QB 17. Think about what I just said. He still finished his QB 17, and he missed the last third of the season.
Yep.
I don't really understand how we've gotten here. Oh, he doesn't have Keenan Allen. He hasn't had Keenan Allen multiple times before. Oh, he doesn't have Mike Williams. He's not had Mike Williams multiple times before. I don't really care. To me, I would say he's a lock top 10 quarterback. Lock. He was number 2 in 2021. Oh, but he doesn't have any receivers. And he doesn't have much of a defense either. I mean, I think it's going to get better, but they're still going to be in shootouts. And so you're telling me because his receiving core is not very good that you're just losing your mind, and now he's going behind – I mean, he's going behind quarterbacks that don't make any sense. He's going behind Caleb Williams. What? Come again for Judge Fudge? Because that doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Because Caleb has better weapons.
He's going behind Kirk Cousins, who first of all, it has been the definition of average fantasy football quarterback. Always has been. Probably always will be. Oh, by the way, you do remember that Jim Harbaugh likes quarterbacks that run, right? I don't know why that's so lost on people, but it really seems to be, and I can't figure that out. Quarterbacks at Michigan, all of them ran. Quarterbacks when he was in San Francisco, quarterbacks ran.
Yes.
That's part of the offense. Justin Herbert will run more this year than he's ever run in his entire NFL career.
And that's why people aren't grabbing onto it. You know, sharp players are grabbing onto it. But the casual goes, Justin Herbert's not a running quarterback. He doesn't fall into that category. Not taking into account that he can do that, and he will do that under the Greg Roman system.
Justin Herbert rushed 52 times in 13 games last year. I won't be shocked if that gets into the high 80s, low 90s. Won't shock me in the least.
Justin Herbert currently at quarterback 17.
Which is dumb.
And 122 overall.
And look, I get it. We're at a point in the NFL where quarterback is so unbelievably deep. I just keep finding myself going Trevor Lawrence, Justin Herbert, Matthew Stafford. I'm doing it over and over and over and over again. And if I only get two of those guys, I wind up throwing Sam Darnold at the end. And I'm good. Or Justin Fields. I've done that a couple times too.
I, too, have a whole lot of quarterbacks in this area. Aaron Rodgers is one of mine. I'll throw him out there as my first submission for quarterback sleeper.
Who did you say?
Aaron Rodgers.
I'll just tell you, I wouldn't go there.
Really?
I wouldn't go there.
He's not going to be better than quarterback 18?
I think he's about right. I think he's about right. Look, you got to remember, that's a team with a really, 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 really good defense. I don't need Aaron Rodgers to throw 45 touchdowns. I need Aaron Rodgers to throw 25 touchdowns. I just need him to throw 2 interceptions. Hold on to the ball, run the ball. That's the way that team's going to be. I'll be honest with you, I think 18 might actually be high.
Good Lord.
Well, I mean, think about it. Name me the best defenses in the NFL.
Okay, what about him?
Do you really want any other quarterbacks to be your fantasy football quarterback? Brock Purdy. That's the one. And even him, I don't really. You get a lot out of Christian McCaffrey on dump offs. I get that. I don't want Brock Purdy either. I've always had a rule that I need if I'm the guys that I draft, I need your defense to be either suspect to bad. And all three of the ones that I just said, they fit into that.
Okay. All right. So Aaron Rodgers won't put up the stats because he doesn't have to.
I don't see a path that he's going to beat a lot of these guys. I really don't. And I'll tell you another one that you could do worse than if the quarterback run happens and you don't want to take a quarterback that high, you could do worse than Will Levis. You can do worse than Will Levis. One of the biggest questions we had about him was how much leash is he going to get? Should be more than any quarterback in the NFL. After watching Mason Rudolph and Malik Willis up close and personal, if either of those two play a snap and Will Levis still has 2 feet and 2 hands, somebody needs to have their head examined. Mason Rudolph was the worst quarterback I saw over the course of 3 preseason games, where predominantly you had backups playing. And I mean backups, 4th string guys. Mason Rudolph was that bad.
So Will Levis is really you still think he's worth, like, are you taking him as a quarterback 1?
No.
Okay.
He would be a QB2. I'm going platoon. I'm going to have 2 or maybe even 3. And I'm just going to play the matchups every single week. I like Jordan Love. I can't take Jordan Love as high as he is going. I like Josh Allen. I can't take him as high as he's going. I can't take Lamar Jackson as high as he's going. Kyler Murray is the one. That's the first one that I look at and go, I could see a path. Dak Prescott, I could see a path. Jaden Daniels, I could see a path. Tua, I can get there. But I don't think I'm going to pull the trigger. I think I'm just going to keep looking at running backs and receivers and go, I'm going to keep doing this because I know there are more quarterbacks and there are no more of these guys.
Yep.
Once the legit actual players go, I am throwing darts at a board and praying for miracles. I'm not doing that at quarterback.
Okay. Aside from Aaron Rodgers, Kirk Cousins is on that list for me. Stafford's on that list for me. Of guys that you can get late that will probably outperform the 19th and 20th spots.
I can't disagree. I mean, I don't mind having them in a platoon. If you're going the same strategy I just said, I think you're fine.
This is waiting until the 12th round or whatever, or the 11th round, and basically taking them back to back. Because I've loaded up on my receivers and tight end. I've already got a stud tight end. I've already got the running backs. Later in the draft, I mean, if I'm going, I don't know. I mean, that doesn't really qualify as zero quarterback, but I guess it kind of does. And then I'm just going to take two steady options there late. But I don't think I'd spend another roster spot on taking a guy that I'm not sure about, like a Will Levis or a Bryce Young or any of these other unproven guys. Bo Nix.
I wouldn't draft Bo Nix. That third spot for me is basically either Will Levis or Sam Darnold.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because I look at the weapons, and Levis can really run. Darnold is somewhat mobile. And that's good enough for me to be the three. They both also play really nice schedules.
You're in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM and 1400. We will have the daily draft coming up after the top of the hour, and then we'll talk wide receivers as well before we get out of here for a Tuesday on the Sportsocracy Fantasy Football Marathon.
Right now at Wendy's, you can get a small...
You good?
Literally everyone.
Hey, Tank, before you move too far,
Frosty.
have you been uploading the podcast? They're saying it hadn't been uploaded.
The person who cut you off earlier? You guessed it, Dollar Frosty. Maybe it's all a sign for you to go get one. Just don't cut anyone off. No one likes that person. The iconic...
He said he did not, but he'll do it today.
Participating U.S. Wendy's, not
Stand for.
combo. Prices may be higher in Alaska, Hawaii, California, and via third party.
Yeah, they were asking for yesterday and
today. If you're listening to this
today's.
Gerber Life Guaranteed Life Insurance ad, there's a good chance that you're alive. And if you're not, well, this may not be.
Yesterday's the only one that's not up, he says.
Stand for. Live forever. Death is what happens to other people. Well, for the sake of argument, let's assume you're wrong and that someday you won't be listening to the radio anymore. I know it's not easy to talk about, so I'll do the talking. If you're 50 plus and alive, or 50 to 75 in New York, you can apply for Gerber Life Guaranteed Life Insurance with guaranteed acceptance regardless of your health. And since this life insurance is guaranteed, you don't have to get a medical exam. In fact, you don't even have to fill out a health questionnaire. For a free quote, call 888-532-5016. Then, when you stop, if you stop listening to the radio, your family can use the insurance money to help cover your final expenses or anything else. Your kids already inherited your ears, allergies, and questionable singing voice. Don't make them inherit your final expense tab too. For a free personalized quote, call 888-532-5016 today.
And now another insurance story from
Smart Bunny. Smart Bunny.
Wow, I wonder how much all this costs. Shh. Well, it can't be cheap. Do we even have enough for our own, you-know-what?
Honey. Shh. I heard he bought final expense insurance through the Smart Bunny app.
The Smart Bunny app?
Like on your phone?
I know what an app is.
For the love of all things decent, be quiet.
Get up to $25,000 of lifelong coverage for funeral expenses, debts, and other needs for as little as $14 a month. And no medical exam is required. So hop on the Smart Bunny app now and grab some final expense insurance.
Honey,
Are you buying the insurance, like, right now?
Time is precious.
So true.
Smart Bunny Insurance.
Smart Bunny. Smart Bunny.
Your insurance super app. Insurance is sold by Smart Bunny Insurance Services and underwritten by various companies. Coverage exclusions and limitations may apply.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Stunning afternoon, actually a stunning run here for late August standards. Lots of sunshine around, and it is going to be absolutely beautiful as we roll through the rest of the week. Hope you get some time to enjoy it. I've got to guess the heat's going to come back. It does look like it warms up toward the weekend or by the weekend. 75 and sunny today. Tonight, 52, 40s in some spots. Wednesday, sunshine 80. Thursday, sunshine 80. Friday, sunny 82. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stajic.
This report is sponsored by First Restoration Services.
Fire, flood, wind damage, arguably a homeowner's worst nightmare. For nearly 4 decades, First Restoration Services has been helping people recover from disasters with trust, integrity, speed, and quality. If you have a disaster, call them today, 1-800-537-6151, or online at frs247.com.
Sandstone Health and Rehabilitation is known for compassionate care for all across its 18 North Carolina locations. Whether your loved one needs short-term rehabilitation or long-term care, our exceptional staff and comprehensive services are here to support their recovery or ongoing needs.
From the Ingalls Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart Radio Station.
Live from the Ingalls Studio,
I can't wait to play with myself every day.
the Sportsocracy.
Damn the devil to hell! Let the big dog see! Let him on the field!
Come get you some of this.
Fire them cannons! By golly, put more powder in those things.
He couldn't take any more disappointment. Oh my God, the Jets killed him.
You're in the Sportsocracy. It is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400. The Sportsocracy is heard everywhere you go on the iHeartRadio app. You can get us live or on demand on the podcast. I do have to apologize. I did not get yesterday's podcast put up on the feed. That will be done after today's program. Thank you, Stephen Tao, for pointing that out. Anyhow, we will have the fantasy football marathon there for you to consume on the podcast after the program. Today, all of yesterday's talk about the do not draft list and just the basic intro to fantasy football. Today, we've been focusing on sleepers. We've gone through running backs, tight ends, quarterbacks. We've got wide receivers to come here later in the hour.
Before we do the draft, though, we have a very rare event in this show.
And what is that?
We have a super chat with breaking news.
Oh, I like that.
Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news?
All right, you remember that thing I said about you and that ray gun? I would rather watch you dance. I completely lied. What is that? That's a new little god awful move. It's like a dry heave put to music.
Fall in love with me.
Lowered expectations. Curtis Davis said
what was better, that or the thing with Elaine with the thumbs?
He and Elaine are in the same ballpark for sure.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Our buddy Curtis Davis said, "Hey guys, he's going to the Chargers-Panthers game. He's thinking about staying in Asheville a couple days, looking for things to do here in Asheville other than get totally blitz-faced. Go Chargers, go." And this would be a really good time to point out that Tank and I will also be at the Chargers-Panthers game on September 15th. I'm eschewing a trip to Nashville to see the Titans and the Jets for that one. I'm not going to lie, I'm glad I figured that out right before I bought tickets. That would have been not awesome.
All right, and Curtis Davis says he's going to stay in Asheville a couple of days after the game.
Right. Things to do in Asheville. I mean, the Biltmore House, that's the stereotypical.
Yes.
The stereotypical answer.
Mm-hmm. You can do any of the tours downtown. Those are fun. Get on the Lazoom bus. That is quite a hilarious time.
It is.
It's quite distasteful. Everyone who listens to this program, if you like our sense of humor, you'll love being on the Lazoom tour.
No doubt. And you'll get to watch the people of Asheville, of which I have long said as popular as People of Walmart was for a really long time, I cannot believe nobody has made a People of Asheville.
That is kind of surprising.
It stuns me every single day.
Yeah. Although
I see something in this
it'd be
city.
like the same 6 people all the time.
Every time I go out in public, I see something that makes me go, you shock me every time. You get me every single time.
Every single time. All right. Hey, we got, I was looking at Asheville events for that week. Rabbit, the Black Pumas are going to be here. If you haven't checked them out, it's a cool band. Cool band. You may enjoy the music. Seether and Skillet are going to be here that week, too. Holy cow, that's the same day.
That's the greatest day of music in Asheville in 40 years.
That is, yeah. Wow. Seether and Skillet are going to be at the Harris Cherokee Center, Asheville, on September the 17th. Same day that Rabbit is going to host the Black Pumas. So downtown's going to be kind of crazy that evening. It'd be a great time for you to be downtown.
Oh, if you want to people watch, that'll be primo people watching time.
And it'll be quite hilarious because on both sides of the street you'll have like all of the goth people walking up one side of the street, and then like all the hippies and the funk lovers going down the other side of the street for the 2 shows. Could be quite interesting.
And they'll all have people asking them to buy their rock.
No doubt about it.
Now, it might be different kinds of rock. You want to be real sure that you make very clear, some of them, that I did not initiate this conversation, because if a police individual sees that, it could be crimes.
Yeah, there is only one phrase, though, that you have to learn before you come visit Asheville, because you're going to have to use it about 700 times while you're here, and it's, I only carry cash. Sorry. Or I only carry cards. Sorry. No cash.
That's a good one. I did at the Senior Bowl get hit up by a guy that said, well, you could just Venmo it to me. And I went, man, that's really taking away my ability to not be a jerk.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's get into the daily draft. It's time to talk. What? Wait. Oh, sorry about that. Something caught my eye. Daily draft time. Your favorite sleepers for the 2024 fantasy football season.
Same premise as yesterday. 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, and a flex.
Well, I guess I'll go first since you went first yesterday. And
yes,
it
sir.
is my birthday. So you're gonna let me go first here.
Yes, sir.
My first selection, I'm going to go with a running back for my first selection. And my running back to grab, I mean, you know what? I'm not even. I'm going to take one away from you because I know you're gonna do this. Kyron Williams.
Well, that makes me angry.
Kyron Williams currently the 8th running back in ADP, I believe, unless I'm looking at the wrong list here. Let me.
He's lower than that in ADP. You're looking at the ranking list. Let me guess, you're on Fantasy Pros.
Yes.
Yep.
Here's my ADP list. I'm going to get there. Kyron Williams' ADP is currently running back 7, 15 overall.
And that's gone up significantly.
Yeah, it was much lower when all of the drafts started. I still think he's going to be a value, even at that high price.
How many running backs in the NFL do you have in front of him in fantasy rankings this year?
4.
You have
3.
more than I do.
I have 3.
You still have more than I do.
Really?
I have 2.
I got McCaffrey, Brees, and Bijan.
I have McCaffrey and Bijan.
And you think he'll be better than Brees? You think Brees is going to lose tote.
I do. I think Braylon Allen is so good that they can't keep him off the field. And he is a big thumper running back, and I have a weird feeling he's going to steal some touchdowns from Breece Hall.
Mm-hmm. And again, not worried about Blake Corum, because that's always the name that gets thrown out.
Well,
when it comes to Kyron Williams.
I mean, I guess my question with Blake Corum is, what exactly am I worried about? All right, so when you say, am I worried about him, what do you mean?
Does he lose 20% of his snaps?
Kyron Williams carried it how many times last year?
Oh, I would have to imagine that was in the 200 range.
It was 228.
Mm-hmm.
He missed 5 full games. 5 full games and went out of another one. He still finished 13th in carries. Still.
Yeah.
Him and Josh Jacobs had workloads last year that were just really unlike anything you see in the NFL, and I don't think that's going to change. I don't think it's going to change. Blake Corum is borderline useless as a pass blocker. So Kyron Williams will get all of that work. I think he might lose a little bit of early down, but not much. I think Blake Corum's an 8 to 10-ish touch a game guy.
Mm-hmm.
And just looking at what the Rams did last year, that falls about in line. You know, they used 47 different running backs last year, and Kyron Williams is still the dude. I think 228 carries is probably the floor for Kyron. That's what he got last year. If the touchdowns keep happening, and I think they will, I can't tell you you're wrong.
Yeah.
I don't understand why he is as low as he is. Now, it's leveling off now to a point where I'm not getting just raging value on him anymore. I took him in the 3rd round of the Scott Fish Bowl and laughed real hard.
In the 3rd round?
You gave me my number 1 receiver. You gave me my number 3 running back and my number 1 tight end. I feel pretty good about that.
All right, so my pick, Kyron Williams, number 1 fantasy sleeper must-have.
Well, I'm going to take the guy that I thought you were getting ready to take, who we talked about earlier, which is Aaron Jones, who's going as running back 19 or 20, depending on which ADP you're looking at, which to me is just laughably insane. I think he finishes the year in the top 10. And I don't have to spend a premium on him.
Yeah.
He was the no-doubter. If you didn't take him at 1, he was my 1 with a bullet. And that's even with how much I like Kyron Williams. Now I have to play the game. Because there are a couple guys that I know definitively you're not going to take. So I'm going to take a guy that I know you will. Mike Evans.
Ooh. That is a good one.
He is criminally underrated in fantasy football every single year.
Mm-hmm.
And now, even with the surge, he's up to wide receiver, depending on what the site. He's between 14 and 19 right now. That's still too low. Drake London's going ahead of him. Can you explain that to me? Because I don't get it.
No, I cannot.
Jalen Waddle, who's the 2 on his own team, is going ahead of him. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Pittman, who is literally doing a Mike Evans impression every single week, is going in front of him. With more of a question mark at quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and by the way, your defense is god-awful. What does that lead to? Whole lot of shootouts.
Yep. Not a whole lot of cornerbacks in this league that can handle Mike Evans and his size. Baker Mayfield found that out last year, and that's why, you know, for a guy who has 10 straight 1,000-yard seasons to start out his career as a receiver in the NFL.
And he's still underrated.
He's still underrated. You know, like last year when he scored, 12 touchdowns he had last year?
That
he
sounds
scored
right.
a bunch. And it was almost like everybody was surprised that it happened.
He had 13.
13. He had 13 touchdowns last year, and everybody's like, oh, where did that come from?
Yeah, he led the NFL. Him and Tyreek Hill had 13 touchdowns to lead the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and he did that on 79 catches.
Mm-hmm. And he is one of the best solutions that Baker Mayfield could ever wish for. An inaccurate quarterback who, just kind of, I'm going to get it out there. I'm going to get it out there. It's going to be somewhere close. I can't promise you I'm going to drop it in the basket. I might do that twice in the season. But otherwise, I need that giant out there who has a range that's almost unrivaled by anybody in the NFL. Mike Evans fits him perfectly. That's a great pick by you. I'm impressed. I very rarely ever say that about your drafts. I usually just yearn for you to say that about mine. But
yeah. And I do from time to time.
Sometimes I get it right. Sometimes not so much. Talking fantasy sleepers here in the Sportsocracy Daily Draft. We'll continue after the break here on ESPN Asheville 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400.
Haywood EMC, your local Touchstone Energy
You're good.
powering a brighter future for our community by offering college scholarships, education grants, athletic camps, and much more. Serving the rural residents of Western North Carolina with affordable, reliable, safe services and open communications for over 80 years. Learn all of the ways Haywood EMC is working in the community at haywoodemc.com/community.
Pain from arthritis is awful. Bone-on-bone constant pain. It robs you of so much of the stuff you love to do. But there are effective ways to deal with that pain, and I'm not talking about drugs or surgery. Listen, there are exciting new cellular therapies that can get you lasting relief. And the place to go? QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics uses cutting-edge treatments that accelerate your own body's healing properties, revitalizing your joints so you can move again. If you're living with chronic pain from arthritis or injury, you need to know steroids and surgery and pain pills are no longer your only option. Learn how QC Kinetics can use advanced regenerative medicine to treat the pain, enhance your joints, restore your mobility, and give you long-term relief. With no downtime, the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics are ready to help you get your life back with regenerative restorative cellular treatments for your achy joints. This is the future of medicine. Call for a free consultation now in Asheville and in Greenville. 828-333-9517. 828-333-9517. 828-333-9517.
Cullowhee is the place to be for the Catamount Football home opener on Saturday, September 7th at 1 p.m. as nationally ranked WCU takes on Campbell at Bob Waters Field, E.J. Whitmire Stadium. It's Whiteout Whitmire as all fans are encouraged to wear white. The first 5,000 fans get a free Whiteout t-shirt. Advanced ticket sales start at just $16 for adults and $11 for kids. For tickets, visit catamountsports.com or call 800-34-GO-WCU. Proudly sponsored by Ingles Markets and iHeartMedia Asheville. Go Cats!
There's a lot of talk about heroes these days.
Hey, buddy, you want to go fishing?
The folks in the funny outfits with superpowers and spandex.
All right, buddy, let me help you.
But at Ingles, we know that a lot of our heroes
Now you look like a pro.
are a little closer to home. They're the ones who give us what we need for those everyday adventures. That's why we look up to the ones who look out for us.
Don't forget your fish food. Catch a big one.
Ingles,
See you later, Dad.
all the ingredients for family.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at clarissasellswnc.com. Download our free app on Google Play or the App Store. Type in Asheville Home Search. You'll be able to connect with our team and see all the available homes for sale in our area. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or clarissasellswnc@gmail.com.
Do better, be better every day. That's the Parks Promise. This is JW with Parks Fort Hendersonville, and I'm so excited to introduce our first Parks Promise community hero, the American Red Cross of Western North Carolina. The need for blood is so important, and in the summer months, the need is even greater. Did you know that you can donate every 56 days? Save lives this summer. Head to redcross.org to schedule an appointment or find a blood drive near you. Congratulations to the American Red Cross, our Parks Promise community hero.
The Sportsocracy.
These guys are a disgrace.
We're back in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville. Daily draft time, sleepers for 2024 in fantasy football. You're having your drafts sometime soon. Listen up. Maybe you'll hear a name that you didn't think about beforehand. So far, I got Kyron Williams with the number 1 pick. Feel really solid about that because I know he was very, very high on Flo Stradamus' list. Aaron Jones was his first selection. Then he took Mike Evans. Now it's my turn for 2 picks. Sleepers for this season. I'm going, I guess this is relatively deep on wide receivers because I keep getting late in drafts and noticing that Hollywood Brown is still hanging around. For some reason, I just can't get away from the fact that he's sitting around like wide receiver 49, I think it is, on the ADP. And I don't see how he doesn't beat that. And probably by a lot, being with Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City. Last year, Rashee Rice, he was the number 1 wide receiver for Kansas City, finished 27th in the fantasy rankings. Hollywood Brown finished 52nd last year, which is 3 spots behind his current ADP at 49, and he played half of a season without a quarterback, without Kyler Murray. I don't know. Do you agree with me, Jeremy? Is Hollywood interesting to you? Because he is one that I'm going, you know what? I could have a gem here.
Where he's going, I don't object to it. I don't necessarily think he's a great value.
Mm-hmm.
If they hadn't drafted Xavier Worthy, I wouldn't feel the same way. He's also hurt. He's already hurt, and he's probably going to miss at least 3 games. He may miss 5. So I can't get down with that. A guy that's been hurt notoriously, and he's already hurt before the season even starts, that's a no-go for me.
Okay.
I can't remember what. It was shoulder. Hurt his shoulder.
His shoulder.
Yeah, he hurt his shoulder.
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe before the injury I could have gotten down with that. With it, I'm good.
You're good.
I'll let somebody else take him. You'll end up cutting him because you're going to have to. Well, I mean, because if he doesn't come back, okay, I'll say this a different way. If you have an IR slot, I unwind everything I just said because I think he could be a great value towards the end of the year. The problem is he's going to lose some really good rep time with Pat Mahomes. And I think Xavier Worthy ends up passing him. Rashee Rice was always going to be ahead of him.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just look at they have a ton of guys, several of whom already have a pretty good rapport with Mahomes.
Mm-hmm.
And they have 3 dudes that are just pure burners. So, I mean, I don't hate it. I can tell you I would not have taken him in this draft.
Really? Okay. I'm going to fill my other running back slot here with Nick Chubb. We talked about him earlier in the show.
Well, he wasn't coming back to you, so that was.
I still just can't get away from the fact that he is RB 32 in an ADP, which is dumb talk.
It's really low. I wish I had a better read. Everything I've seen makes me think he will be ready for week 1. But even if he's not, he's going so low at this point that I'm not sure I care.
No. It's the best value that you can get down there in the 9th round.
I have 2 that I definitively know we could do this all afternoon and you would never take.
Okay.
So I don't feel like I have to do any of that. So I will take the 2 that I think you might. The first one's Deontay Johnson. he has been an absolute target monster over his career. And now you're really in a prove it year in Carolina with a quarterback that needs that safety blanket. I keep seeing him at 35, 36, somewhere in that general vicinity with guys that I have way more questions about. And look, I don't know exactly how to feel about Carolina's offense right now. It's looked clunky. I've watched both preseason games, and I get its backups. It's not even really that. It's not the talent that I'm talking about. It's the operation that I'm talking about. It looks really clunky. So there is some risk to him, but I guess I'm looking at guys in front of him just going, I have way less fear about him than I have out of these other guys. I know practically where he's going to fall in so long as he stays healthy, and it's way better than where he's getting drafted.
Okay. Deontay Johnson, Carolina Panthers wide receiver. And then
I'm going to feel man, I wish I had I'm going to take Terry McLaurin. I really wanted to take Malik Neighbors, but I said his name so many times yesterday. And I don't necessarily think he's a great value. I think Terry McLaurin is a ridiculous value. Can you explain to me why he's going so low? At least attempt to explain to me why he's going so low?
I really can't. Most of the time I try to think of this is what people are thinking. But I really can't figure out why he's being placed behind Christian Kirk and Calvin Ridley. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Terry McLaurin can outperform where he's currently slotted, yes.
Okay, so last year in PPR leagues, Terry McLaurin finished as wide receiver 31.
Did he? That surprises me.
He didn't catch a ton of passes. In standard, I actually think he's better in standard. Do you feel like Jaden Daniels is a better quarterback than what you got out of Sam Howell last year?
Yes.
I do too. I feel like Dan Quinn and Cliff Kingsbury is more competent coaching-wise than what you got last year. And if you added 25 points to Terry McLaurin, he'd have been in the top 18. 25 points is not a lot. That's one and a half a week. Just competent quarterback play puts him in the top 20.
Yep.
And I think you're going to get that.
That's a good grab. I like that. Part of me wants to cheat here, but I'm not gonna. I gotta pick one. I gotta pick one of these guys.
Tell me why you want to cheat. I'll give you a ruling on if you can do it or not.
They're on the same team.
Oh, that's not cheating.
That's not cheating. Do they count as one pick though?
No,
that's the question.
No.
Shoot. Well, see, because I can't. I'm not going to pick them both for a fantasy team. I'll pick one for this exercise, and then I can talk about both of them at the same time. My selection here will be Keenan Allen. The other guy I'm interested in is Rome Odunze.
Rome, I am interested in. Keenan Allen, not so much.
Well, see, the Keenan Allen grabs me obviously because he's Mr. Target Monster. He's Mr. Sure Hands. He's the guy that Caleb can lean on to make the easier throws. The flip side of that is I think because Caleb is able to play off script and make those, unscripted plays. When a play breaks down, he could find a receiver downfield. That's going to be Rome Odunze.
That's why I'm interested in Rome. Rome is not redundant. Keenan Allen's redundant. Keenan Allen and Cole Kmet are going to be running in a lot of the same territories, and I think they pill for each other.
Okay.
DJ Moore, I can get down with him at his current ADP. I can get down with Rome Odunze. I can't find a path that I'm taking Keenan Allen. If he falls,
is that just because he's going in the 7th round or 6th round?
Well, just look at the guys going around him. Terry McLaurin, Tank Dell, Rashee Rice, Chris Godwin, Deontay Johnson, Jaden Reed, Jackson Smith, and Jigba. I like all of those guys better than him.
Well, okay.
Every single one of them. And most of them, it's not all that close. He's at best the third target in his own offense. And it's hard for me to get down with that. I'm not slighting the talent at all. Between his age and I can't get there.
Okay. All right.
I'm not faulting you for doing it. I understand your premise.
Yeah, no, I'm just rolling it around in the old noggin there. All right, and then I got a flex and a quarterback position left. I'll knock out the quarterback here. If I had to pick another one or a quarterback to outperform their current ADP, I mean, the first one I get to on the list, I think it's Tua. Because of that high-flying offense, I think he's better than 14. I think he's got a great path to go into the top 10 or finish in the top 10, well in the top 10. Because, hell, last year he was like 4, wasn't he?
He was 9.
He was 9.
That's my problem.
A little higher than that.
That's my problem with Tua is that he gets pilfered by the rushing touchdowns. And I don't physically think
he's going to be that plentiful this year? I don't see Raheem Mostert doing 20 of them again.
The regression would have to be significant. And I don't see a path that Tua outscores what he did last year. And there were just a lot of those games where he threw for a ton of yards and a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
Or a ton of yards and 2 touchdowns. And it just... I mean, he beat Baker Mayfield by less than a full point, if that tells you anything. That was leading the league in passing, playing all 17 games.
So the scores weren't there.
I am glad you did that, though, because it gives me the opportunity to take the quarterback that these two remind me of each other a lot. The big difference is that I don't really have to worry about the running game. It's Dak Prescott.
Oh, okay.
He finished 3rd in quarterback scoring last year. Do you know where he's currently going among quarterbacks?
9?
9 or 10, depends on the site. If Jordan Love is in front of him, then he's 10. If he's not, he's 9. Mm-hmm. Because the top 10 pretty much across the board is the same 10 guys. And I just look at Dak Prescott, and I mean, this is not a comment on real life football. This is a comment on fantasy football. I feel like there's no path that Dak doesn't finish in the top 5, and I'm pretty confident he finishes in the top 2.
Oh, okay.
He's just not going to get pilfered for touchdowns. Mm-hmm. I've got Ezekiel Elliott that falls forward for a yard and a half, and I like Rico, but he's not a huge guy. And so we get down on the 3-yard line, and I feel like that ball's either going to CeeDee Lamb or it's in Dak's hands to get it to CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah. Or they'll give it to Zeke 3 times.
Which, if they give it to Zeke 3 times, then we're going to have a 4th down shot from Dak Prescott.
That's Mike McCarthy. That's the Mike McCarthy way, it seems like.
All right, I've got to take one running back.
Yep.
I've got 2 names. I'll take the one that makes the most sense for this exercise. It's Kenny Walker III. I don't understand why he doesn't get that bell cow love the way some of these other guys do. He is a phenomenal running back. And look, I understand they invested in Zach Charbonnet. I get it. I also have eyes, and I have watched these two play, and to me, they're not even close to each other. So unless you're worried about injuries, I'm getting a running back that to me is far superior, and I'm getting him in an area that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. He was on my Scott Fishbowl team as well. I took him and DK because they both fell to such a point that it made no sense to me. It's not going to be great every week, but no running back outside of the top 3 or 4. Can you say that about anyway? And Kenny Walker's good is really, really, really good.
I love Kenny Walker, but it is because of Zach Charbonnet. You know, it's the same thing with Kyron Williams and Blake Corum. There's just this overarching theme of we watch these guys light it up at Michigan, and they're going to have something to say about the running back rooms that they get into in the league. It doesn't really scare me in Seattle, and it doesn't scare me in L.A.
Okay, so and anybody that said that about Walker, I would ask this question. Zach Charbonnet had 108 carries last year. He had 33 receptions. Mm-hmm. So between those two things, he had 141 touches. Do you, honest to God, see him getting more than that? Because I don't. I don't. Not with Mike McDonald, I don't. Now, my other question would be, Geno Smith threw right at 500 passes last year in 15 games. I don't see a possibility of him doing that again. Mm-hmm. I think they're going to lean on the run. They're going to play really good defense. And people are not chalking that up. That this is a different coaching staff. And I think when I did my projections, I actually had Kenny Walker's touch total going up. And he was right at 250 last year, and I think I had him at almost 270 this year.
Yep. All right, final pick of the daily draft before we take our break, and we'll come back and talk fantasy sleeper wide receivers to end out the program after the break. My final selection, flex position, I am going to go with a wide receiver, and when Jeremy said today to me, who is your first one that comes to your mind? Who is your sleeper of the year? And I believe it's Rashid Shaheed. I don't like Derek Carr all that much. However, he does enough to help his receivers get there. You said you were down on Chris Olave yesterday because Derek Carr has been that bad. I'm not swaying off of Chris Olave because he's that good. But I think Rashid Shaheed, he's definitely better than the 59th best wide receiver in the NFL. And you can wait forever and just grab him at the end. You may end up with a wide receiver 2 out of the deal if he has a hell of a year, which I think is very well in the cards for him.
I'm going to make a prognostication. Mm-hmm. I have a weird feeling Derek Carr doesn't play 17 games in New Orleans this year.
Really?
We used to say a little birdie told me.
It's going to get that bad.
We'll say a little birdie told me.
Oh, all right.
He's not acclimating to this offense well at all.
Right. No, what a shame. As a Bucs fan, hurts my heart to see the Saints waste money like that.
That is what a lie sounds like.
You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville. We'll talk sleeper wide receivers for 2024 coming up next.
This is your
You good?
Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Stunning afternoon, actually a stunning run here for late August standards. Lots of sunshine around, and it is going to be absolutely beautiful as we roll through the rest of the week. Hope you get some time to enjoy it. I've got to guess the heat's going to come back. It does look like it warms up toward the weekend or by the weekend. 75 and sunny today. Tonight, 52, 40s in some spots. Wednesday, sunshine 80. Thursday, sunshine 80. Friday, sunny 82. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stajic.
This report is sponsored by eBay Motors. eBay Motors is here for the ride with the parts you need at the prices you want. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they're guaranteed to fit your ride the first time, every time, or your money back. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Right now at Wendy's, you can get a small Frosty for $1. And literally everyone is going. The car behind you, going to get $1 Frosty. The car ahead of you, already had one, going for a second. The person who cut you off earlier, you guessed it, $1 Frosty. Maybe it's all a sign for you to go get one. Just don't cut anyone off. No one likes that person. The iconic Frosty for $1? Gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's. Not valid in a combo. Prices may be higher in Alaska, Hawaii, California, and via third-party delivery.
The Sportsocracy.
Told you.
He did make me think.
Don't do it.
Live from the Ingles studio.
Don't do it unless you want to hear how I feel.
Weekdays, noon to 3.
Best just put that on conversation probation and leave it alone.
On ESPN Asheville.
Our daughter Jessie loves playing detective.
But since we discovered she has sensitive skin, we've been playing detective too.
We thought the problem was our puppy.
But it was actually our old detergent. So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle.
Tide Free and Gentle has no dyes or perfumes, so it's gentle on her skin.
If it's gotta be clean, it's gotta be Tide Free and Gentle. This back-to-school season, Tide and Downy are giving back with $1.5 million in scholarships. Enter to win. No purchase necessary. US/TC 17+. End September 30th. Rules. Tide.com/scholarship/official rules.
Attention drivers. Ingalls Markets is hiring experienced CDLA holders for our local fleet. As an Ingalls driver, you start earning paid time off on day one. Our local drivers earn an average salary of $75,000 a year, but that's not all. You'll also enjoy great benefits like medical, dental, and vision insurance, plus a 401k with company matching and weekly pay. If you have a year or more of driving experience, apply online today at inglescareers.com. That's inglescareers.com.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at clarissasellswnc.com. And did I mention that Clarissa Sells WNC loves teachers? We love teachers so much, we're giving back 25% of our commission at closing. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or clarissasellswnc@gmail.com.
This summer, Dale's Pale Ale salutes freedom. Freedom in fabric, or the fabric of freedom. Denim Dale's available for a limited time in the blue jean box. Dale's salutes everyone who works hard, plays hard, and relaxes hard. Life's more than about what you pack in your dinner. Though we're packing beer, so we win. Seize the Dales. Unwind in style with a cool breeze up the jorts. Just look for the beer in the blue jean box.
The Sportsocracy.
That is some good, clean family fun there, eh, God?
Welcome back into the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville. Fantasy Sleepers, the subject of today's program as we get prepared for the upcoming NFL season that is just less than 2 weeks away. Well, no, I guess
16
it's a
days.
little more than 2 weeks away, but we're calling it 2 weeks, okay?
We're 4 days from the start of football season, though. We got Sheamus on game day.
Yes.
I do think it's funny that we went WWE wrestler for the Ireland game.
Do what?
Sheamus, my ginger brethren, he's the guest picker on game day.
Yeah.
Of which
Is
I
he
don't know
really?
what games he's going to pick. He's going to be the one that we see throughout the year of he went 2-0 because he picked Florida State and SMU to beat the smoke off Nevada.
No, they gotta make him pick all the games. So he'll have to pick the Hawaii game.
Yeah, don't take Delaware State. There's give you a solid piece of advice.
All right, let's get back into it here. Wide receivers, sleeper wide receivers for this year. I just closed out the daily draft by taking Rashid Shaheed. He is one of my favorites. Just to grab at the end of a draft and go, yep, I think I get it's a lottery ticket. It could be one that pays off. Who else is on your wide receiver watch list?
Well, and we can go a little deeper on receivers tomorrow because we're low on time. There are just a couple of guys that I look at as, could you explain to me why they're going so low? A couple of them we've already talked about. But the one that I can't stop staring at it is Cooper Kupp. What am I missing? I get it. Puka Nacua was really, really good last year. I think Jordan Whittington will be fine. because I do think he's going to slide into that 3 role before it's all said and done. I think he's still either first or second receiving yards in the preseason, which is exactly what we saw Puka do last year. And then next thing you know, hey, he's a starter, and hey, he's the rookie of the year. I don't understand how Cooper Kupp has fallen so far, how we've fallen so far out of love with him. Do you?
It's the age.
And I mean, I get the age. I get that he missed 5 games last year. Mm-hmm. He has such a rapport with Matthew Stafford, and there's just really nobody else that's going to take target share away from him. It's Puka and Cooper Kupp, and they throw a lot. And the problem was most of the time last year it was Puka that was getting it done. I mean, obviously early in the season there was no Cooper Kupp for the first 4 or 5 weeks. Mm-hmm.
But then later in the season he had 2 games, Cooper Kupp. He had 2 games where he scored over 10 points, and that's not a good recipe to me for a guy who's, turning 30. He's reliant on his health.
He just turned 31.
31, excuse me. I stand corrected.
He still gets inundated with targets, though. Mm-hmm. He had 2 really good games when he came in October. He had 2 really good games late in the season. He didn't get in the end zone much. But, I mean, I don't feel like he's regressed that far. Mm-hmm. I know he's got the injury issues. I understand that. But, I mean, I've seen him fall as far as wide receiver 27, 28, 29. That's lunacy to me. Mm-hmm. You and I were at the Scott Fish Bowl. We talked about Cooper Kupp for 2 solid rounds because I think he went in the 6th. And he went right in front of me, and I'm just going to go ahead and tell you that's exactly who I was taking.
Yep. It does get super stupid at times with Cooper Kupp. I'm not saying I'd never draft him. He'd definitely be on my list if he's falling that far and you get that kind of deal on him. Absolutely. But I understand why there is some hesitancy there. I don't understand taking Brandon Ayuk over him with his problems.
Well, Brandon Ayuk would be a tough one for me to take, period.
Period. Right, exactly. But that's
mainly because I don't know where he's going to play.
He's ahead of it. Right, exactly.
Cooper Kupp last year in what was unequivocally the most down year that he's had since the star turn still finished tied for 23rd in points per game among receivers. I just feel like we pushed him down too far.
Yep.
And he's not the only one.
Who else?
You're going to disagree with this. Malik Neighbors is a guy that I'm just going to keep banging the drum for. He's that good. I don't care how bad your quarterback is. And knowing, I get that Kyler Murray is a better quarterback than what you have in New York. You also have him competing with more people because they've got 2 legit running backs. You've got Trey McBride. The New York Giants have absolutely nothing. It's Wan'Dale Robinson, Malik Neighbors, in the message. There's just nobody else there. And for me, the fact he and George Pickens are going right beside each other is just comical to me. And the day's coming where where Pickens will be going higher than Neighbors. By the time all the drafts are done, I guarantee you Neighbors' ADP will have fallen slightly to the point where George Pickens has passed him. Because Daniel Jones was so bad in that game with the Texans.
Yep.
And it doesn't matter how good that he has been. And he has been good. He's been fantastic. Been fantastic in camp. But people just can't get over how bad the quarterback is.
Yeah, and I just can't get away from, hell, what was it, first week of the season he was talking about, I'm out there, I'm open, and they're just not hitting me. Like that starts that early, it gives me some pause. Like I said yesterday, Malik Neighbors is one of those that I'm not touching, and I will, I'll let you have the win if it's going to be a win. To me, it's a lot of risk with a rookie in what I feel like is a bad situation. Next year, if they go and get a quarterback, absolutely, I'm in. Love it.
It is.
I guess that's also one of those if you haven't shown it to me kind of a thing, so I can't just blindly go in believing that Malik Neighbors is going to come in and just be otherworldly in a bad situation. I can't fault you for it, but I'm not doing it.
Do you have anybody outside of Rashid Shaheed that we need to mention today?
Only one that comes to top of my mind right now is Zay Flowers. The last 5 weeks of the season last year, he was real solid. And I think that's going to continue because Baltimore didn't do anything with their weapons.
He's the only one that you can have even a modicum of confidence in.
Right. He's still the guy.
I find myself bumping up Zay Flowers about every time I look at my rankings.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think I started him too low. It's Mark Andrews and it's Zay Flowers, and I don't trust anything else.
Yep. You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville. Before we get out of here today, we'll talk some more fantasy stuff tomorrow. We'll talk more about wide receivers tomorrow as well on the program. Before we get out of here today, though, we forgot to do it yesterday.
We didn't forget. We ran out of time.
Yeah.
And it actually worked out nicely because now I have even a better example of what I was going to talk about that happened yesterday.
And it's time. Jeremy's getting mad.
Dirty perky shark back flat.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Shark back flat.
Let the hate flow through you.
We live in a country where, people tell you how divided we are. And I just spent 9 days in 3 different states. Tank can attest to this, especially if you get a beer or two in me, I become the most social, friendly person you'll ever meet in your life. And so I talk to a lot of people from different walks of life, people from different areas of the country. And you know what I kept running into? Damn, people are friendly in person. It is shocking how easy it is to have a conversation with somebody in public. And I say that to say this. We put out our top 100 players after the NFL list, and we put that out on social media. Thousands upon thousands of people saw it, and the comments are unequivocally, first of all, it is shocking to me how many people can't spell. Like, if you're going to talk smack to me, hit spell check, bruh, because I'm going to say something about it. But why are you that way online and you're not that way in front of people? Because I'm either the luckiest person on the planet Earth to never really run into jackasses in person, or the rate of them online is significantly higher than it is in person, which I don't understand. Pat McAfee, who just so happens to be a fellow West Virginia feller like me, well, he's tired of it. And now he's in hot water because he started responding to fans that had said things about him on College Game Day. I'll read you one of the better ones. Somebody said, am I the only one who genuinely doesn't like McAfee? I can't put my finger on it, but damn, he makes me angry. Pat responded, I've been with me a long time. You're definitely not the only one. Good news, I'd probably hate you too. First of all, that is an A1 since day one response. Used it myself. If you're going to say it to people that are in a public stature like this, don't be shocked when we come back at you. Because I talk to a lot of people in media, and I'm telling you straight up, we're getting rather fed up with it. And people say, oh, you should have a thicker skin. You don't understand what people in a position like this deal with. I have heard people say god-awful things about me, god-awful things about Tank, who I am insanely defensive over, and I just don't get it. And then I meet these people in person, and guess what? They couldn't be nicer. So why do you have these strong-armed, big old Popeye muscles online, and then you're a nice person in person? That doesn't make any sense to me. Stop doing that. It's not really hard. You can scroll past things on social media without putting in your 2 cents if you don't have anything nice to say. And frankly, it's not disagreeing with me. You can disagree with me. You can disagree with Tank. Neither one of us cares. Neither one of us cares. Frankly, we enjoy it. Some of the better conversations I had were with people that had massive disagreements from me. But they say things in a respectful way. And as we go into a political season, I felt like this was a great time to say, just understand you get what you give. And you attract a lot more flies with honey than you do with vinegar. I'm mad.
You're in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. We'll have more fantasy content for you coming up tomorrow right here in the Ingles studio. We'll see you back here, 92.9 at noon.
No, thank you.
I get it. Nobody likes to think about life insurance because it means having to think about the end of. So I'll make this short and sweet. If you're 50,
you're good.
75 in New York, you can apply for Gerber Life Guaranteed Life Insurance with guaranteed acceptance regardless of your health. Guaranteed acceptance means you don't need a medical exam. In fact, you don't even have to fill out a health questionnaire. For a free quote, just visit GerberLifeFamily.com. Then, when that thing you don't want to think about does eventually happen, and you know it will,
I'm not listening.
Your family can use the insurance money to help cover the cost of your final expenses, or anything else. Now that's worth thinking about. Gerber Life Guaranteed Life Insurance. For a free quote, visit GerberLifeFamily.com today. See website for terms and restrictions.
Cullowhee is the place to be for the Catamount Football home opener on Saturday, September 7th at 1 p.m. as nationally ranked WCU takes on Campbell at Bob Waters Field, E.J. Whitmire Stadium. It's Whiteout Whitmire as all fans are encouraged to wear white. The first 5,000 fans get a free Whiteout t-shirt. Advanced ticket sales start at just $16 for adults and $11 for kids. For tickets, visit catamountsports.com or call 800-34-GO-WCU. Proudly sponsored by Ingles Markets and iHeartMedia Asheville. Go Cats!
At Ingles, whether we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics have teamed up under new ownership by an Asheville native to better serve our community with the finest custom apparel and unique branded items at the best price. Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics can customize whatever you, your team, business, or local group may need through high-quality screen printing, embroidery, and laser engraving right here in Asheville. Free personal delivery within Buncombe County and a reduced delivery fee anywhere in Western North Carolina. Visit ShowtimeSportsAVL.com and MountainGraphicsAVL.com. Your one-stop custom apparel shops.
Do better, be better every day. That's the Parks Promise. Our mission, to improve lives with every interaction. This is JW, General Manager at Parks Ford Hendersonville. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com. That's parksfordhendersonville.com.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Stunning afternoon, actually a stunning run here for late August standards. Lots of sunshine around, and it is going to be absolutely beautiful as we roll through the rest of the week. Hope you get some time to enjoy it. I've got to guess the heat's going to come back. It does look like it warms up toward the weekend or by the weekend. 75 and sunny today. Tonight, 52, 40s in some spots. Wednesday, sunshine 80. Thursday, sunshine 80. Friday, sunny 82. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stajic.
This report is sponsored by eBay Motors. eBay Motors is here for the ride with the parts you need at the prices you want. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they're guaranteed to fit your ride the first time, every time, or your money back. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
This is the famous footwear that makes us actually want to go back to school. With the newest styles from all your favorite brands, like Nike, Adidas, Crocs, Converse, New Balance, Birkenstock, and more. You'll find everything kids want, all at prices parents can appreciate. Because you don't have to overspend to make it famous. Famous Footwear even has fit experts in store to make sure you get the right size every time. So, for the perfect fit, make it famous. Plus, right now, buy one, get one half off when you shop your local Famous Footwear or famous.com. Some exclusions apply.
Call Zero Res Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning today and mention ESPN Asheville to get a free hallway cleaned with 3 rooms of carpet for only $129. Book online at ZeroResAsheville.com.
From the Ingalls Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart Radio Station.